Hello, 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 and welcome to the ENG YNPL review show once again, a special edition, as we have a ding ding. We got something going on with Hayden and Alison. It's going to be interesting. We've got Richard here to obviously umpire, and obviously, should I bring Hayden in as well? There he is. Hayden, there he is. Yeah. He's there. Alison's coming in shortly. Hayden, you're also going to give us a little rundown of the under-14s grand finals, I believe. What happened in interesting things happened there.
Wait, Alison's coming in shortly. I thought Alison was training tonight. I thought Alison was coming in later.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Whenever, yeah.
No, this is my. This might be my last night in the south of England.
What's that?
This might be. I said this might be my last night in the south of England. So
explain.
I'm seeking safe passage to the northwest. The coaches in the south of England have revolted against me over my promotion of the two-handed overhead pass. So.
So is it caused a storm, man? Is that what you're saying? Are they all talking about?
I've got some right. Hang on, right.
Let's not go into the two pass yet. Don't go into it yet. We're
not going to it yet.
Tonight, what we're going to do is, Hayden, you're going to just give us some feedback about the under-14s grand finals. Yes. There's a few little things you want to talk about. We have had a lot of emails from people saying they love what Hayden does. They love how he breaks down the game, and because of that, we've got this week, and we're going to finish off next week with the under-13s grand finals, where Hayden is just going to pick up little things that went well, what didn't go so well for some teams, and then finally we can go into our summer break from the review show. But at 9 o'clock, or maybe before that, depends. I've given Hayden an hour to get this analytic stuff done.
Did you hear that, Hayden? An hour. Yeah, it's giving you an hour, mate. Try and keep it to the hour.
It's going to be more than an hour because, listen, Alison's on Jamaican time like me, so.
Alison will be coming in at 9 o'clock.
Alison's practicing at 9 o'clock, so 9 o'clock means 9:30.
No, Alison's called me already, and she's going to be here at 9.
Don't forget you can comment, people.
Alison generally believes what Hayden is saying in regards to the overhead pass. Like, she's not saying it's a bad thing, a good thing, but she reckons teaching it at that age to basically be more. It's better to play the game the way it should be played now at a professional level than it would be to do that just to win the netball games. And that's the argument, or that's the debate we're going to have. Is it worth doing the overhead pass just to win a netball game, or is it better for their long-term development if they just learn how to pass it the way the international Super League players do? And that's what we're going to be discussing.
Oh, Rich, we're not going to be discussing this. It's just going to be those two. You know that.
So, Hayden, what have you got for us? So the under-14s grand finals was won by Oldham. They defeated Shan in the final. Third place was Chester. Ryland come fourth. Cross Keys come fifth. Turnford maybe come sixth. My brain is now fried. So what have you got for us, Hayden, this tonight?
We're going to be looking a bit at Cross Keys, a little bit of Chester. We're going to be looking a lot at the Shan against Ryland game, and obviously Oldham and Shan in the final. Right, I'm just having a couple of problems sharing my screen.
Is that because you're underneath the sink?
Right. Okay. I think I'm good now. Yeah, that's good. Right.
It went right over his head, didn't it? It looks like you're a dwarf, mate, and that's a big sink next to you on the.
Yeah, right.
We all know Hayden's tall, by the way. Right. I'm the midget around here.
I'm not a dwarf. Right. Okay. Right. So, quarterfinals. We will start with. Do
you want me to put your screen on?
Yes, please. Right, and
there we go. Right, okay, lovely wallpaper. Lovely wallpaper.
So this game, if I remember rightly, Chester in the first quarter absolutely destroyed Western Park Blades. Am I right in saying that?
Yes. Right.
Was it because of lack of preparation? What happened here, Hayden?
See, I don't know these teams so well, right? But I think it can be a thing, and I think we saw it with Paul and Oldham in the under-15s, right? When you get these southern teams playing a northern team playing for the same time, although you might kind of consider them kind of similar in strength, styles make fights. So if your style matches up really well against their style, even though on paper it might look it could be similar, like that's one thing you said to me, Richard. You were really surprised at sort of how much this score kind of blew out.
I'm very surprised.
So we're going to show some clips
your
from
thoughts as well in the comments, please, people. We love a comment.
So, as I said, we haven't got a massive amount of time, and I've got a lot of games to go through, but we're just going to show a few clips of Chester and what they were doing well to kind of get on top in this game. Okay, so I say one thing they do, and this is similar of all the northern teams, and the passing style: two-handed overhead, some chest passes, and they take the ball to goal really well. So we'll see that here. So starting from kind of near their own net. It's these long passes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's the overheads. Yeah.
Boom.
Okay. So
we have a goal.
One. And so, yeah, they Chester win ball here.
That's good pickup.
Remember, I was telling you, Richard, about them stretching out, catching the balls, how close they are to the laptop, and you're like, how can you trust them? And I totally trust them because they do really reach out and catch these balls, even when you think it.
Yeah. But Martin, right, hang on, let me turn this.
What's the matter, mate?
Oh, no. I've got the audio balance wrong, so I need to.
That's on your side, my friend.
Right, I need to turn one up and turn one down. Okay. So that's two from Chester, and this is probably the best one.
Chester are a really good team. They're very unpredictable team in terms of what you're going to get from them. I can imagine it's very frustrating from a coach for Chester because I've seen them play and they can take on anyone on their day. But then there's sometimes you think, whoa, what happened to that team?
Yeah.
So again, consistency in sport is key. That's how you get to the top.
And one thing I'll say as well, like with the transition play, so like we're going to talk about the overhead pass later, but when the overhead pass really comes into a full effect is like when you take a rebound or when you kind of win the ball near your own net, because then you've got to go the full length of the court. So I think in transition, that's the main area where the northern teams have the advantage, or the northwest in particular has an advantage over the south. So if you look at where Chester pick up the ball here, so you can just see how spread out their players are, right? So we've got we've got one player receiving the ball here. We've got the I think goal defense here. Maybe the wing defense took it goal here.
You're West End and South, ain't you?
Yeah.
North.
And then we look here, right?
Oh, it's a massive part.
Yeah, if you look at these players, so we've got here, but we've got the goal defense here. Yeah, we've got probably the wing attack there taking the ball in the corner. Might be the goal attack.
Bring it round so that we can see where you're talking.
Yeah, so you can say I need to make my mouse pointer bigger. Right, okay, do that. Mouse pointer size, and then let's make the size bigger. Okay, right now we should be good. Yeah,
I can't see the mouse pointer on there, but
okay.
Oh, there, I can see it.
Yeah,
slightly moving. Yeah, can you change it to white or something?
I don't know. The pink. I don't know. The pink seems to work. Okay, let me change it to white. Okay. What's the technical issues? All right.
That's all right. No, it's good that you know how to do it. That's cool.
Okay, let's change it to white. Okay, is that better? I think the pink was better than the white.
Same as you need to make it
but
quite.
Yeah. Anyway, but the space is cool. Basically, in the transition play, the space the court is more spaced for the northern teams than the southern teams, which means that your players are fighting one-on-one matchups where literally they just have to win their one-on-one matchup and they'll get open. Whereas when the court gets compressed, you can beat your player one-on-one, but there might be another defender in the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is really good from Chester. Look, just ping it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you believe Western Park Blade struggled with in this quarter, Hayden?
The transition, right? So that's the thing. That it's like when you're playing only in the south, right? And when you give the ball away, you get time to react because all the teams in the south are doing like the little chest passes and the shoulder passes. So it takes them time to come down the court, right? So all of a sudden, when you go and play a team from the northwest, they're not doing little passes. As soon as they get the ball, if we go back to the beginning here,
I would just like to say Paul and Sanford did the same, but
Well, Paul is basically just more extreme. Like Paul and Kingsway are in a category of their own, but it's just the spacing. So if you look at the goal attack in the centre here, they're kind of in the middle of the floor. But whereas Chester have gone right, you're in the middle of the floor. The space is wide, and we're quite happy to ping it from side to side. We're not looking to do sort of short, sharp passes, cuts, and drives. Like if you're going to give space wide and long, we're happy to execute, go wide. Because in netball, you're kind of taught to go through the middle channel. But if the middle channel blocked, go wide. Look at the space. No arms over pressure.
Yeah, definitely. Loads of room.
Yeah. So basically, it is a principle of netball to use the middle channel. So what Western Park is doing here is they're blocking the middle channel. You see the two defenders here. So Chester have just gone right. Okay, if you're going to block the middle channel, we're not going to try and go through you. We're just going to go around you. Yeah. And this long pass here, this is the difference between netball in the Northwest and netball in the rest of the country.
Oh, he is definitely going to get kicked out of the South, isn't he?
Hey, listen, I've already got my Uber booked, right? So I'm looking.
Mate, you are police escort. I'm telling you, mate. No Uber's going to save you.
I'm looking for refuge in Wyre, South Ribble, Saddleworth, Tameside, Macclesfield.
Calling all cars.
Yeah, please, like. You will never see. I remember this pass here. See what would happen in the south is this will bring it to our chest, and you don't see this pass. Bang! You don't see this pass in the south of England. So yeah, unless I travel to the north, the only way I'm able to see a 14-year-old execute this kind of pass is on the live stream. Hence why
Paul do it all the time.
But Paul is in a category of their own, and Magic as well. So certain teams from the south have sort of adopted these Northwest philosophies, but others haven't, and they're
I've created a grind on my system of updates and uploading videos and stuff. So at the moment, I'm doing with season 2021, so some uploads, and I was looking at the pool game, and I'm like, back then they were doing this, and I'm watching. I'm doing the video editing, and I'm like,
staying off Paul. We've got a lot of Paul later. When Alison comes on, we're going to have a lot of Paul. But for now, we're going to focus on.
Well, before Hayden goes into the next bit, he was actually telling me that there's a club that contacted him to say their, I think, under 10s or 11s they will be passing the ball this way as of next season in the south.
Ooh.
So people are listening, and people are thinking, you know what? If this is what gets us the win, because I personally feel the passing bit is not the biggest issue, is not the biggest cause of concern when you're teaching netball. There's a lot more other stuff you need to hone in and kind of improve upon. And I think passing is not as important as some other stuff. But that's me probably being a netball novice. But I'm happy to take that position.
So if you want to say why did Chester win, basically. Western Park Blades set up their defence to block the middle channel, which you would against a southern team. But Chester just go, and this centre just throws it half the court.
That is,
excellent pass. And look, you see the wing defence coming over. She kind of, nearly gets there, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That one pass just eliminates your whole defence. That's it. It's over now. Yeah, and then as well.
It's a bit like the Man City press where people ping it over the press, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Liverpool just decided we're not going to pass it round you. We're just going to play over you.
Yeah. And sideways as well. See, the teams from the Northwest, they're happy to go. Like, you've got two really long lateral passes here that are really good. This is a really good pass here. Really good pass. That's a tight window.
Yeah.
Perfect stride. Can I feed my shooters? No. What am I going to do? Beautiful little hold here on the edge of the circle, arm up, signaling clearly where I want the ball. Yeah. Bang. Are my shooters open? Yes, finally my shooters open.
Brilliant. So Chester won the game because they managed to maximise the space on the court.
Yeah, when they win ball, they take ball to goal. But whereas when teams in the south win the ball, they don't necessarily take it to goal unless they're called pool. So yeah, Chester won the game. Let me see the score. it was 31-15, quite convincing. Okay, next game, quarterfinals. We will stay on the quarterfinals, and we will head to Cross Keys against Oldham.
This was an interesting game. So for people who don't know, Oldham got into their groove, but Cross Keys didn't kind of step down from the challenge. And in the second quarter, if it wasn't for some missed shots, Cross Keys potentially could have gone in. I would say potentially a draw. They stayed in the game up until the last quarter, and it was only, I think, 2 points in it at the end.
So yes, this was a real game of two halves. So basically, an Ava was the best from Cross Keys, was the best player in this game, which is saying something because you've got Gracie. I don't know the name of the Oldham goal shooter, but she's really good as well. You've got Molly Neville. Like, you've got some top players in this game. Okay, so statistically, it was crazy, right? So Ava started as at goal shooter, and in the first quarter, there were 14 points, right? And in the last quarter, Ava played at goal shooter, and there were also 14 points. Ooh. So basically, the half of the game that Ava was playing at goal shooter, both teams were scoring. The Oldham shooters were running rampant. Ava was running rampant, and there were 28 points. Okay. Now, Ava played goalkeeper for half of this game because what happened was Cross Keys were scoring in the first half, but Oldham were scoring more. The Cross Keys coaches made an adjustment. They moved Ava from goal shooter to goalkeeper. I'd never seen her play goalkeeper before. There were 9 points in 16 minutes. So we went from 28 points in 16 minutes to 9 points in 16 minutes. And so Ava was doing,
she took away the goals from her team, but then stopped them going in.
Yeah, but it's a bit sad. It's like you plug one leak and another leak, you take the plug out to plug one leak, but then another leak comes. And but yeah, if Cross Keys had two Avas, there's a good chance that they could have won this game. So
can I just say as well, Cross Keys, I think they played they played in the England national event in a weekend. That was the first time they'd qualified for the England national event, I think, in 30 odd years.
Yep.
It gives you an idea that this Cross Keys team are just a small little club doing great things, and for them to take on a team like Oldham is highly impressive. So big well done to Cross Keys.
Yeah, well done. But as I said, Richard, the main reason like we do these broadcasts is because you want to get new teams into the league, right? We have certain super clubs, right? Some teams with multiple teams across age groups in your league. So we're talking Kingsway, Leeds, Oldham, Turnford, AP Saints, Magic, etc. They've all got teams in every age group. But what's nice is it might be a smaller club, but you might have one age group that's super talented. So we want the league so that club can get its team in the ENG and also keep its team, right? We don't just want it so that team comes in the ENG, we show how good they are, and then all of a sudden all the other good teams are picking off their players. So basically, we put these videos out so that those coaches of the smaller clubs, right, that might not necessarily have the time to watch the live scoring stream and stuff, can prepare their teams for what they will face if they come to this standard of netball.
But that's the danger for me. The danger is that we do showcase these teams, we do put a platform around them, and then all of a sudden, because that's the idea. The idea is to give them the environment where they don't want to leave their clubs; they want to stay at their clubs. Right. But is the league? Is the league being successful in doing that, or are we just identifying who these amazing players are, more smaller clubs, and then the big clubs just pick them off?
Yeah,
like Man United pick off.
Yeah,
you think so?
Yeah.
Look at.
All right, Colin, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, well seen, Colin.
So do you think of Brighton? Brighton have done really well in the league this season in football, and literally Arsenal, Man United, Man City, Liverpool are just going to pick all their players off.
Yeah, and their coaches, Graham Potter's gone, De Zerbi as well, but
I don't know whether the league's been a success in doing that, but that's the whole aim.
Anyway, right. Let's show some. We're talking too much. Let's show some clips of this game. Let's show what it's like.
All right, then. Take over the show, Hayden.
While everyone was scoring. So this is the start of the game. Ava's the goal shooter.
If I remember rightly, Ava went into goalkeeper in the second and third quarter.
Okay. So there's Ava just opening up the space there for a goal attack in the back.
Good start.
Right. Then Oldham get the ball.
when I look at Gracie, I just think if there's anyone ever built to play sport, it's Gracie.
Yeah. So, Rick, do we know the name of the Oldham goal shooter?
I'm terrible with names as it is, mate. So
okay,
maybe if someone from Oldham's in the room, they can let us know.
Yeah, let us know. That'd be nice.
Okay, yeah, because if Colin and I are going to be doing commentary on the under 14s and under 11s, I've got about 300 odd names to learn. So yeah, Colin's, right.
Well, you better start.
Okay, and again, back to Oldham as well. One thing we're going to get to, I know you love the gang sign, so we're going to be getting back to that later. But one thing with Oldham, you'll see in the final, you see it across all the age group, is just how they're structured, right? So like Kingsway, Leeds, Oldham, they're all excellent, but they have certain things that they kind of specialise in. And one thing with Oldham is every time that whistle blows, these girls get in the perfect alignment to execute, right? So if you look, this is a set play here. You're supposed to score here pretty much 100% of the time, but not every team's like that. So if you just look at the position of the golden goal shooter, yeah. So, and I'll show that again. Some teams that the person taking the penalty might shoot this ball. Yeah. So yeah, that might a lot of the youth netball teams like the goal attack or whatever might shoot that. But what Oldham do is, what's the point in shooting from sort of 6 foot away when we can shoot from 2 foot away?
Yeah,
and it's these marginal gains that they do. So, and that is really where I'd say that netball club is the best in the country, ahead of Kingsway, Leeds, Turnford, etc.
Mate, are you sure you want to go to the north? You're running out of room in the British Isles. We're a very small country, mate.
But yeah, Oldham, and the thing is, it's hard to do with it's easy to do with adults, right? But it's hard to do with. I know these girls are 14, but even if you watch their under 12s, like structurally, sort of off the centre passes, inbounds passes, penalty passes, or whatever, they are the best. Like we've already seen their it's Evie, Evie, right? So like I said, we've already seen their sort of red arrows routine, and we're going to see some more kind of set plays later. But yeah, but just little things like that, shooting from 1 foot away instead of 6 foot away makes a big difference. We're going to show Ava here at shooter, and her footwork as well, right? So like people might look at Ava's strength and say, she's using her strength, that's why she's able to score a lot. But she has some of the best footwork of any player like in the whole league, right? So we see Ava here at goal shooter, right? And if you just watch her feet as she just moves quickly around, yeah, yeah.
I like that.
So a little spin.
That's class. That's class. I like that.
That is.
Yeah. Just gets the penalty. Literally, the spin so quick it surprises the defender, and she gets called for contact.
I mean, if we had spare people, we would have done a Michael Jackson hit song to that one.
Yeah. We got to do it. I'll snip it and I'll stick it on Instagram later.
Yeah. So, and then you see here sort of Ava. Now she's doing the body on body stuff. She's just protecting that space there. Yeah. So it comes in. Yeah, and then so she just presents here, right? So she look, but she sees she's too close, but she can see the defenders come to stop that one. So now she knows that the space is opened in the back. So it's just a quick pivot round the back, bam. Yeah,
cool. Like it. I like this because you're starting to see things that. You're getting in the head of the players, aren't you?
Yeah.
But as I said, you can only see the stuff. Even if you watch the live stream, right? You have to pause and slow down and go through frame by frame to appreciate some of the stuff that these girls are doing on the court. So this is kind of the problem that Cross Keys were having in attack, even with Ava there, and it basically got worse once they put Ava to goalkeeper, because when Ava was playing goalkeeper, they scored 2 points in those 2 quarters. So they get the ball here. Gracie's kind of body on body, protecting the space. Right, so when Gracie picks up the ball here at circle edge, ideally what you want your shooters to do, you kind of want one working to the ball and one working away from the ball. What you don't want is both of your shooters going into the same space. The other thing you would notice is that the wing attack here needs to be sort of more on the body of the Oldham wing defence. right? So that if
Right.
this Gracie's got the option to swing this ball across the circle,
Right.
because by leaving this little space here, can you see the space between her feet and the
Yeah.
green circle?
Yep.
That gives the opportunity for that Oldham player to come across and undercut, right? So
Right.
if Gracie kind of looks across and sees that position, she's not going to be very confident, to throw the ball, as opposed to, when we showed that Chester clip earlier, we showed the girl, she was stood at the circle edge. She clearly had her hand up, signaling where she wants the ball.
On the left, wasn't it? Yeah.
So a lot of the time, your body language will dictate, if you want the ball. If you look confident, people will pass the ball to you. So Gracie gets the ball here, and what goes wrong is, if you see both the cross-key shooters, both in the same space, and now we've got massive bodies, right? Got massive bodies. There's nowhere for the ball to go. Oldham take it, and then they're out running. Two-handed overheads, two-handed overheads, two-handed overheads. Into Evie. I think
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, the whole country, the whole South would, if every team in our league next season, the South, just start throwing the ball over there, I'm going to laugh.
No, they're not. They're not. What's the result of the poll?
It's going to be the Hayden pass. It's not going to be the overhead pass. It's the Hayden pass.
Okay. Right. So we're going to get back to Ava. Okay. So we've seen Ava do some amazing footwork in attack, but we're going to see actually even a better footwork in defense. Right. So Oldham, we know, very structured on sort of set plays. Right. So we see. So this was the change made by the cross keys coaches. So they're like, Evie's dominating. We're going to put Ava on Evie, and that's going to shut her down. Yeah. So what Ava does is she kind of, and I'll Collins in as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pressure, arms over, and then we see Evie present, but we say Ava just come here. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
And the thing is, she's defending Evie here, right? And you've got the goal attack driving across the baseline. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see the goal attack here. She's under the post at the moment. Yeah.
Yep.
So Ava's not only defending Evie, who's one of the maybe the best goal shooter in the country at this age group, but she's also got an eye on this. So she's defending two things at once. So she comes off, amazing intercepts.
So she's kind of half and half, isn't she? She's going to make it. She knows that it could go either way, and she's predicting. Yeah, that's brilliant play. I love that.
That's brilliant. But it's a hard enough job to stop Evie one-on-one, right? If you stopped Evie one-on-one, your coach would say you've done an excellent job. So if you're stopping Evie one-on-one and you're getting interceptions when the goal attack is driving for the ball, you're doing like an amazing job. Okay, we're going to see. Okay, so we're going to see Ava again here at goalkeeper. Right, so ball comes through, looking to get the ball into Evie. Can I get the ball into Evie? No, Ava's there. Right, have to go backwards.
So stop that. Okay. So Hayden, what should Evie now be doing better if she's being blocked by? Is it good defending, or is Evie needing to change?
No, she's doing it. She's actually Ava's that good that she's doing a good job by keeping Ava occupied. So remember we talk about that with Zanaya, right? Like if you can keep Zanaya occupied and stop her hunting. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, because what happens is, like, if Evie moves from there and starts coming to the edge of the circle, then she's in a position where she catches the ball, she's not going to want to shoot. So they're going to have to do more work.
Well, sorry for my ignorance. Why doesn't Evie step back towards the post more?
So basically, when you're feeding, right, she needs space so that when that ball comes into the air, okay, we'll go back to here. So they're not in a feeding position at the moment. But she needs space. So let's say that the ball was here, okay, with the wing attack.
Yeah, okay.
She needs space so that when that ball goes in the air, she can catch it round about. Can you see where my mouse is now? Here?
Yeah.
So basically, if Evie goes back and Ava goes back with her, now, if you throw the ball over the head and she takes it in the backspace, she's going to be like out of bounds. Or what happens is because when she gets closer to the green line, she's not going to be so aggressive to get to the ball. She's going to be worried about stepping out of bounds. So basically, as a shooter, you're taught to hold this high position and give space. If you're sort of presenting, if you want the ball in the backspace, you need to have this space here for those center and wing attack to throw the ball into. So Evie going back, that would not be a good idea. Yeah,
not even to go back to go forward.
That's how Coco plays, right? So different shooters have different style, right? But Evie's kind of presenting back holds, and it's like. It's the structure of your club, right? So if Oldham know that Evie she's done that all season, every time the Oldham centre and wing attack get the ball, they're going to be looking to feed that space. So if all of a sudden the Evie starts presenting in the front, so basically what happened is Evie will present in the back and the goal attack will have room to move around the front. So if Evie now starts presenting in the front, that's kind of mess things up for the goal attack. So yes, you can work on these things in training, but yeah, you can't just. Yeah.
Colin said the goalkeeper needs to work around.
Yeah, okay, we're getting to that, Colin. We've got more clips. We've got more clips.
Just bring Colin in,
and we've only got an hour. So can I go in? Right? Can I go in now? So you see Evie now, arm up. Can I go in? Ava's there. No, she doesn't want to go in, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see Ava's in this front space. Evie wants the ball, but the goal attack's there. Goal defense is doing a nice job tracking her. Can I go in? Can't. Yeah, have to go back.
Right.
Right. Kayla, the MVP, can she go in? Can't. Have to go wide again.
Good defending, Cross Keys. I like it.
Yeah. And then this is the best one.
Did you see the barge?
Did you see that?
I saw it all going in.
You not seen that?
You come up, do you remember it? The grand final. You said something to me and I went, mate, the stuff I'm seeing. I'm loving it. It's passion. It's the game.
Back, Hayden, and basically see if you can spot what me and Martin just spotted.
Well, is it in the corner? Is it something on the ball that I wasn't looking at because I was just looking at what Ava was doing?
2 young girls being ultra competitive. Nothing wrong with it. But
love it.
Super competitive.
Okay, right,
see, sometimes I flip my camera because I see stuff, so I let people.
Let it run. Let it run.
Let it run.
So it's in the corner here, yeah? Is this what I've missed?
Yeah.
Just there. Watch there.
Okay, I see him diving on the floor.
Hold on. It's coming.
That. Okay, yeah, I see it.
This is a non-contact sport. Really?
Yeah, okay. Gracie goes backwards as well. That's not a good look for Gracie. Look, man. Oh, I see. Yeah.
I saw a lot of that.
Where's the next point?
This is the next one. This is probably what did Colin just came in the chat and said she needs to be taking herself around the body. So look at Ava's position now, right? So basically, right, Evie's been set in the back hold, but they're struggling to get it into the back space. So what Evie's done now is she's got in that front position, right? And when we were showing like Lola Newton, the under 12 goal shooter, she was in the front position all the time, and we're going to show that with the under 13 goal shooter as well, right? So, okay, so Kayla, the wing attack. No, sorry, it's the centre because Kayla's here, right? So the centre will see that her goal shooter's in the front position. Okay, so Kayla will see it as well. So as Kayla goes for this ball, look at what Ava does.
She prepares.
Bang. Yeah. You see that? She's gone from back, and her footwork is excellent. This footwork. So Ava's gone from back to front. Yeah.
Just front side. Yeah.
Fantastic. But if you actually look at her feet, as I said, it is ballerina-like footwork.
But Hayden, if she knows Evie's going to take that ball in the air, why not just hold her back space?
No, because
is she not creating the space for it to go behind her then?
No, that's what you want to do. You want them to put the ball in the air because basically every time they put the ball in the air, there's a chance that you can intercept it. Like aerial passes are just more risky than flat passes, right? So if she stays behind her, as soon as Kayla gets this ball here, she'll just turn and fire it into her chest. Yeah.
Okay.
And if Evie can establish that front position, she'll just lunge and get it, and then sort of doing all the refeeding stuff, or maybe swing it across the circle, or to refeed, etc. Give it to her goal attack. So basically, by Ava getting into this front position here, now Oldham are going to have to work even harder to get the ball, right? So as I said, this is not an easy feed into the backspace because she's got the post directly behind her. So she's going to be conscious that if this ball goes into the air, she might catch it and crash into the post. Right. Yeah, so this is not an ideal position to feed from. So can I feed Evie? Kayla looks and sees that the post is right behind her. No. Okay, give it off to Molly. Can I feed Evie? She's kind of got into this front position again, right? So you see the fighting, right? Yeah. You see Ava in the front here. Now we see Evie back in the front position. Can I feed her? Yes. Okay, there was a call there. Can I feed? finally. Yeah,
But you
and
want
that
them
one was.
shooting from there, don't you? You ideally want them shooting from that range, don't you?
Well, ideally, you want to shoot from under the post, but Ava's making it so hard to get under the
I'm
post.
saying,
that-
for Ava's pushed her out enough where she's
Yes.
comfortable. Right, take the shot. It's a lot harder to take, isn't it?
Right, so we've got 2 more clips of Ava, and then we will go to the Leeds against Shan quarterfinal.
Hang on, we've got Colin saying it's a good look for all. Nothing wrong with a bit of bump
So-
and thump.
And this is
Sorry.
yeah.
He's also-
Okay, so again, we've got Ava in front. Right, so we've got Ava in front. We've got Evie. Good footwork here. Rolls into the backspace. Okay, so you can see where Evie's presenting, right? Eva's presenting there. She wants the ball in that backspace. Yeah, you can see where I'm. What you should do as a shooter. Where do I want the ball? Okay. Ava's in front here, but look at Ava's footwork. She comes around and just gets across. Yeah, and just pressures her. So she was relentless pressure. Like these older mid-quarters were having a terrible time because every time they looked to feed their big shooter, which they're used to getting the ball to with ease, Ava was there. Okay, so that one was good. Okay, sorry, this is amazing as well.
Colin did put, I think it was the other one. No, she needs to be at an angle to roll around the.
Okay, well, yeah, Colin wants her to get that ball with 2 hands, right? But they threw it out of bounds. Okay, again, another one. Ava in the front position. Evie's setting the back. Oh no, sorry, they had to change the shooter. So Ava played so well that Evie had to come out of the game. So and that's like, yeah, if you can get your player off the court, then yeah. So we've got the shooter here in the backspace. Kayla, can I feed? No. Molly, can I feed? Yes. Okay. So goal shooter clearly going to take that ball in the backspace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Ava's footwork. She just rolls around the back, rolls around.
She does, doesn't
Who's at the
she?
back now?
Brilliant.
Oh, well spotted, mate. Well spotted.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic player. She has been incredible all season. When I did my highlight reels after the games,
Yeah.
it's like Ava.
This is crazy, right? Because you look at the position of her and the goal shooter here, and you think, how the hell can she get behind her? Literally, she's right on body, right? So Molly turns, but Ava knows, right? Ava has a sense of where the ball's going to go. So you can see here, she's already starting to just move her feet around, and then as soon as that ball goes, the footwork, 1, 2, into the backspace, contest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done.
So it's a round of applause for Ava, who was clearly the best player on the court.
Let us know in the comments, people. Do you think the same as well? That's amazing.
Yeah. So in that game, as I said, what were the stats? It was Oldham scored. They scored 9. Then they scored 2 and 4. So Oldham scored 6 points in 16 minutes while Ava was playing goalkeeper.
And without again?
Okay, they scored 9 and they scored 14. Yeah.
Wow.
No, 9 and 10. So they scored 19 points when she wasn't a goalkeeper in one half, and they scored 6 points while she was a goalkeeper.
Wow. One player.
MVP, Ava.
Right. Very impressive.
Okay.
Right. Next one.
We'll head to the next
I'd just like to say, Ava, if you need a manager, I'm available. And
by the way, this is going to take we haven't got to the semi-finals yet. Okay, right. We're going to the next. So we're going to the quarterfinals. Leeds against Shan. Okay, so Leeds started off well.
This was a shock. Even though this is mainly Leeds' under-13s team, I don't care for age. If you're good enough, if you're good enough, you're old enough. That's the way the saying goes. When you look at the training the Leeds girls get, where they're based, it's relentless. So for me, Shan were the kind of underdogs in this, regardless of age, and they started not particularly great. Hayden, but
we'll get to that.
You're going to let us know why they got back into the game.
Okay, so Leeds started off well, moving the ball through the court here.
Overhead passes.
Yeah.
Hayden needs to be able to get about.
Okay, and then so that was Leeds, and
so is this kind of the first quarter a feeling out type of moment, like a bit like boxing, where the two boxers try and work each other out, where Shan just kind of working out how Leeds were playing, then could then move their players around to kind of combat what they were doing?
Yeah, and then so Leeds, well, they actually changed their shooters. So we see Josie at shooting for Shan at the moment. So that was a change they sort of made midway into the first quarter. Josie, who's improved a lot over the season, actually played in the B team for Shan last year. So she's gone from playing from the B team in the Surrey League to playing against the best players in the country at ENG, and has shown a big improvement over the season. So Josie is a bit more of a sort of a tall shooter, but then in a second, Shan will go to sort of Sophie and Tally, who are two very mobile shooters and can shoot from range. So this is what Leeds are doing. Yeah, take the rebound, and then it's the through court moves. As I said, 2-hand overhead every time, except when you get close.
Jeez,
What's that?
You're not zooming back out, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Now you've zoomed out.
Mate, I followed the ball. Give it a rest. Like to see you do my job.
Richard.
No, rewind it, Hayden, man. I caught the ball. I missed it by a millisecond.
Don't zoom in. Don't zoom in, because basically when you zoom in as a cameraman, it becomes harder. If you zoom out, you can get away with being a bit lazy. But once you zoom in, you have to be really on it to follow the ball, and you're not really on it all the time, Martin. So don't zoom in.
Hayden, man, you better get your Uber now.
Right,
I'm coming get you, man.
Anyway, just a quick note on passing. So basically, in the north, as I said, you see all the girls like adopt the same passing style, other than Oaksway. But we'll get to that later. But then when you watch the teams in the south, you'll see like 7 girls with 7 different passing styles. Some will do shoulder passes, some overhead, some chest pass or whatever. So you see Shan here, like Shan centre pretty much always does a 2-handed overhead, right? Then Sophie takes second phase. Sophie is like shoulder pass here, 1-handed shoulder pass, right? Then Annabelle, she has a very unique passing style that no one else really has, that where she kind of has her feet perpendicular to the target. So brilliant intercept by Leeds. And they're outrunning. But they all pass 2-handed overhead or chest pass.
And the people who are watching, the debate is imminent. So it might be a little bit late, but it will be.
It's going to be late because we haven't even got to the semi-finals yet. It's all right, but Alison's going to be late. Alison's fine. So this was Leeds. So basically, Leeds was winning ball and taking it to goal, and they managed to get a 7-3 lead. But then Shan made a change in the shooting circle. So they introduced Tally. Tally's an under-13 player as well, so she is playing against girls a year older than her, and it made an immediate impact. So instead of having sort of a more stationary holding shooter like Josie, where Leeds kind of can know where the ball's going, when you've got a circle of Sophie and Tally, they're both moving, so you don't know who's going under the post, who's driving out. So it's the speed that makes it a lot more difficult to defend. So we see Sophie take the ball here. Okay, and there's Annabelle.
That's good catch.
Yeah, Tally. So this is Tally being introduced. Quick give and go, beautiful landing. And these mid-range shots to Shan are like shots under the post to other teams. Like they just hit them at extremely high percentage. Okay, so we're going to run through some clips here. More Tally. And as I said, Tally's an under 13 as well. So again, Tally with a beautiful landing. Bang.
Oh, boom.
Yeah. Tally again, coming up. See, she's coming out. See, and it's hard for a goalkeeper. See, if your goalkeeper's like used to holding, we showed Oldham earlier, right? So the challenge of defending Evie and the challenge of defending Tally is completely different, because Tally's going to drive out and use her speed and mobility, whereas Evie's going to stand in there and hold, right? So as a goalkeeper at this level, you've got to be able to deal with all the different styles. Or as a coach, you need different kinds of goalkeepers and defenders that you can put on depending on the style of your opposition. So we just see Tally drive out here, not afraid to go out of the circle. Beautiful landing. Feed, refeed, mid-range, step in. Yeah, well, again.
Explain that step in to me and for the people out there, right?
Yeah.
So just rewind that, right? So she gets the ball.
Yeah.
Was she given a penalty there or something? And then she does one step. What's with the one step?
Okay, so she does well here with so she really extends. So this is excellent, and not all players do this as well. So it's like some girls were in that position. They kind of stand up straight and hold the ball. But what Tally's done is she's really lunged here. You can see her body's almost at a full extension, right?
Yeah.
So that makes it difficult for the Leeds goalkeeper, I assume, to get her arms around, right? So you tell your shooters, or goal attacks actually probably more than shooters at circle edge, really stretch for the ball to make it hard for the goalkeeper to get around.
Yeah.
Right. So she gets it, and then
so she gets well. Now she does another step. So what's this? So that's because she's.
I think the umpire. I think I can hear a whistle. Okay. So once she grounds this foot, it will be footwork call. Okay. So she can shoot from there. So the advantage of stepping in is you get closer, but the disadvantage is she can't ground that. You see that foot her left foot's in the air?
Yeah.
She can't put that foot down.
But why can she do that? Why can she put her foot like that forward?
So her left foot's her pivot foot.
Yeah.
Right. So she can pivot on her left. She can put her right down, but once this left foot's grounded, it will be a footwork call. So she's got to shoot off one foot now. She can't put the left foot down. So it's basically a trade-off. A, you get closer to the net, but B, you have to shoot from one foot, which can affect your balance, right? So all these shooters that goal attack.
And your shot.
Yeah, we're going to see it like Ella from Paul as well does it a lot. They step in, they get closer, but it's the core strength. So you've got to be doing the planks and all that kind of stuff to strengthen your core, so that you can stand on one foot and still maintain your form and hit the shot. Yeah. So she's on one foot. Yeah. Tally again. Amazing.
Right. Gotcha. But I didn't think they were allowed. I thought so. When they get the ball, there's a 3-second rule as well. But they're allowed to go onto their other foot, but they're not allowed to put the other foot down. Then.
Exactly. Yeah. So they can. Yeah. They can.
Because I see it. It's a question I keep on forgetting to ask somebody about it because you're not. As far as I know, as soon as you got the ball, you're not allowed to move that left foot, for instance. In that.
So the game is close. This is Leeds again. Right. We've got
to. Colin's getting involved.
so do you reckon it was the primarily change in the shooting round that changed the game here for Shan?
Yes. So yeah, they were winning. They were winning 7-3. Leeds was winning 7-3, and Shan won the game comfortably in the end, 26-22. So Leeds was winning 7-3. Tally comes in, and yeah, so 7-3 to 26-22. That's 23-15. Yeah, so 23-15 while Tally was on court. But then the other thing is like Shan do all these like 3 overs, which kind of confuse Leeds and cause them a lot of problems. We're gonna show that more in the Ryland game though. Sort of Shan's defending. But here, this game, I just want to focus more on what they're doing attacking. This is really good from the Leeds. Just a nice give and go here. Drive out, 1, get it back, feed. Yeah, and score there. And
so defensively, how did Shan combat the Leeds attack?
Okay, right. Shan's defense. I'm going to focus on Shan's defense in the Ryland game, where they only gave up 6 points in the second half. So for this game, I'm going to talk more about Shan's offense, rebounding here as well. So this was a big because Leeds have got the height advantage at both goal defense and goalkeeper. Because Shan have got 2 sort of smaller mobile shooters, but they rebound. So what Colin tells me is he always tells the shooters, you don't shoot the shot and admire it, you shoot the shot and follow it in. So these Shan shooters as well, they're not afraid to get in there. And a lot of these 50-50 balls, yeah, they're winning a lot of 50-50s, passing it off to each other. Yeah, and this is really an example because Richard, I know you love tall shooters. Like you don't need tall shooters to be successful at this level.
We did a blanket screen. What's that?
Okay, I see some of this stuff Colin's talking about. Like, yeah.
So did Leeds use the width of the court, or were they going down the court centrally like the Chester Western Park Blade game? How was this? Where was most of the play in this game?
More the attack, right? As I said, Leeds were on top going through the center of the court, but and both teams have scored, right? Leeds have scored 22 points in this game, which is okay. But I said it was just that change from Shan in the attack. So you'll see here. So this pass here as well. This is a big difference between the north and the south. This little one-handed shoulder pass. Never see it. Like literally, I've been through like hours of footage of teams in the north. Like a long pass like this would always be made with 2 hands and an overhead in the north. But as I said, southern teams different. One-handed shoulder pass. Yeah, hits the pocket. Annabelle into Tally, and yeah, again, mid-range, comfortable.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I've got just one more clip of this game. Okay, two more. So we'll run through these. Again, if you look at the height Tally's giving up here, Leeds goalkeeper and goal defense a bit like they should be anticipating the rebound, but a lot of these 50-50 balls, like these Shan shooters, they just, even though they're not tall, they get more than their fair share. But Colin says that is a point of emphasis for him in training. Like you shoot the ball and you follow. So again, this one, and like the goalkeeper goes out of bounds. So like basically Shanna in basketball, they call them second chance points. Yeah. So eventually they score. But yeah, if you give teams like 3 opportunities to shoot and score, then eventually they're going to score. Okay.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to give you a maximum quarter pass to get this analysis done.
Okay, yeah, so we're going through. All right, so and then
Pass.
Timmy, we're going to get to her later, but yeah, this is a beautiful interception by Timmy driving through, and then yeah, Shan just get out in transition. But as I said, their transition is a lot different to how it looks from teams in the Northwest because this is all chest passes, right? So it's short, sharp, and flat. How you would see a Super League team or an international team play. Whereas in the North, they don't do it like this. This ball would be that might be a chest pass because there's no one on her. But basically, whenever any pressure comes, girls in the Northwest get the ball above their heads with 2 hands. So again, chest pass, shoulder pass. Yeah, chest pass. And they just work it. And for, I think, about the 8th time we've shown in this clip, Tally finished it off. So yeah, she really had an impressive game, which is excellent for someone that's, as I said, playing upper year. And so Shan's defense. So basically, Shan do these 3 overs here. So you can see here they've got the center, the goal defense, wing defense, all in a line, and this really caused Leeds a lot of problems as well. So again, this is why you kind of need to watch a live stream to prepare for it. Shan got a lot of success with these 3 overs in both the under 12s and the under 14s. Except against Kingsway under 12s, who shredded their 3 overs, and Oldham, who we will get to the gang signs later. So you see they're all in a line there, right?
Yeah.
And what you have to remember is like the goal attack or the wing attack, they have to take the ball, they have to receive the ball in the centre third, right? So they've only got a tight space to receive that ball. Basically, between where Timmy is and that green line, there's not very much space. So basically, with the 3 over, you're kind of guarding a space rather than guarding a player, right? And then what happens is the wing attack and the goal attack from Shan come up. So we've got our 3 defenders here in a line, and then we've got our wing attack and our goal attack on the other side of the court coming down very quickly to pick up their defenders. And so Shan create a lot of pressure here, and they force Leeds backwards. They force them sideways.
Colin says they didn't shred it.
Yeah, and then eventually. Yeah, I think Leeds might score here, but Shan just eventually they get the balls. Yeah, so that was Shan's defense having an impact on the game with the 3 overs. So again, that caused problems for Leeds, and Shan eventually won the game, 26-22. Okay, right now we will get on to semi-finals. Ryland against Shan, and this really was a game of 2 halves.
Oh, 100%. It was strange, like. Ryland looked like they had the game won in the first half, and second half it went a bit Pete Tongue.
So, okay, right, we're going to go through it. But basically, Ryland were winning the game at half-time, 13-6. And in the second half, Ryland were winning 14-8 at half-time. And in the second half, Shan, they moved Timmy to goalkeeper, and Timmy put on a masterclass, and Shan won the game 21-20. So Ryland went from scoring 14 points in the first half to 6 points in the second half. So we're going to show some clips now about what Ryland was doing well in the first half to establish that lead and the changes that Shan made to kind of combat what they were doing. Okay, so defensively, Ryland. Right, so on the centre pass here, we see Annabelle from Shan. She's looking to go between these 2 defenders and get the ball. So when you're defending here, what you're taught to do is give the illusion that she can come through, but then shut the door on her really late. So if you see the wing attack on the left, right, you see there's kind of a space for her to go through. Yeah. So she tries to go through the space, but when she goes through the space, you just slam the door. Slam the door. So as I said, a lot of defense off the centre pass is not necessarily working one-on-one, it's working as a unit. And this is a different style of defense. This is double teaming the wing attack as opposed to what we've just seen with Shan, which is the 3-0.
This is like blocking the quarterback in NFL.
Yeah. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to set up the double team like too early so she knows it's there. You want to kind of give her that false belief that she can sort of get between you or do a move and get the ball. But just as she goes into her move, you just shut the door. Yeah. See, that door is shut. And this is difficult to umpire as well because there is contact there. So if teams are doing this, you need very good umpires because it can sometimes be questionable as to whether the defenders are shutting the door in time or whether they're contacting the attacking player.
Squash. So
Ryland shut the door there. Yeah, you see the goal attack. So we've our two players have shut down the wing attack. Our goal attack's here, but I don't think we're confident to give this ball. Okay, we do give this ball, but this was a held ball, I think. Yeah, so that was excellent centre-half defense by Ryland. Okay, and then they get on the ball, and then this is why Ryland got so much success in the first half. The goal shooter and the goal attack were working extremely well together. We showed a kick with cross keys earlier, where the goal shooter and the goal attack were running into the same space, and they had Ryland had a clear game plan. We want to get Timmy away from the ball and open up the space away from Timmy. So what we'll see here is we'll see the goal attack. We'll see Timmy here in the goal attack. We'll see the goal attack drive out and Timmy go with her. Yeah. But that just opens up now. Goal shooters one-on-one at the back. Yeah. So this was Ryland's strategy in the first half. Get Timmy away from the post. If we can get Timmy away from the post, if we can get Timmy out here, right, at circle edge, and then we're one-on-one at the back, we've got a good chance to score because if it's Timmy under the post, it's going to be difficult to get the ball. So while Timmy's there, that's good for you. See it, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Timmy's out at circle edge, shooters one-on-one at the back. And this goal shooter for Ryland, I think what's her name? Her name is
Lauren, maybe?
Matilda Neal. Matilda Neal, the goal shooter, and Holly Dunacre, the goal attack, were working very well together. And their movements were always coordinated. If one moved one space, one moves to the other space. And the plan was to get Timmy away from the post, and that's how we were going to score. So I've got so many clips of them doing this and Colin getting very frustrated as well. So Colin...
he says what you didn't show was the goal attack move to the other side to get the ball.
Yeah, she presented, but she opened up the space for the back player. So again here, so we see the goal attack. We see Timmy at circle edge, and then we see the goal shooter. What's her name again? It was Matilda. So she just drives here. So she comes here, change of direction. Yeah, keep Timmy out the way, get the ball. Okay, and score. Next one. All these clips are all of the same thing. Okay, where's Timmy? Timmy's at circle edge. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, goal attack. We're going to get Timmy to move this way, and we're going to get our goal shooter to move this way, and we're going to score. Okay,
Alison is
next one.
backstage, by the way.
Say again.
Alison is backstage. She's ready.
Oh,
She's keen. I can see it firing up, man. Okay. I can see it firing up.
Right.
I'll be interested to see.
Oh, so Colin changed stuff. Where's Colin? So Colin changed it. He changed some things.
What did he do? What did he change?
If we see the centre pass, we see Timmy at goal defence, right?
Right.
So she was kinding up, and then I think there was a penalty call. Right. So when they go back now, normally the goal defence would go on the goal attack, but Colin's like, no, we're changing things. So who's Timmy on now? Now we've got a goal defence on the goal shooter, and we've got Isla, the goalkeeper. She is on the goal attack. So Colin made that change. Still didn't work. So now the goal shooter drives out. Okay, Timmy's trying to stay at home. Pass. Still, Ryland keeps scoring.
Shot.
Right, okay. Change it again. We'll look in. Where's Timmy? Timmy's a goal defence. She's a goal defence, but she's actually playing goalkeeper. Okay, I'm going to come out. I'm going to keep Timmy busy. Oh, quick change of direction.
Good play.
Ryland
Some good movement there, wasn't it?
Yeah, excellent movement. They play great. They play great in the first half. That against Timmy, who's one of the best defenders in the country. Surrey Storm under 17s NPL. National runner-up at this event, runner-up at national under 14s. Yeah, one of the best defenders in the country. So, like, Ryland did excellent. But it's not just one person doing it. It's two shooters working as a tandem. Right. So Collins tried. He started off with Timmy at goal defense. Now she's still got a goal defense bib on, but she's playing more like a goalkeeper because they're switching. But then things change. So, okay, we're going to go to... Okay, more great movement. Okay, so this is the second quarter. Timmy's still at goal defense. Timmy's high. Movement. You see the movement from the goal shooter as well?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, look, bang.
So this all starts to unravel in the second half. Why?
It's going to unravel. So okay, so we've seen.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Ryland are not doing this in the second half.
Right, we're going to get to half time now. And as soon as the whistle comes, as soon as the whistle goes, we see Shan pointing. Yeah, pointing. You, change. Yeah. Look, literally, it's funny because look, they don't even start the team talk, right? It's not even in the team talk. The whistle goes. Look at you. There's the point. Look, remember. Hey, listen, as coaches, when you do on your coaching courses, we're taught not to point at children. That's deemed to be an aggressive behavior, right? Don't point at children. Shan's not playing around. They're down. Yeah. Point. You change this now. Change.
That's why this country fails to win big major honours, because we're too soft.
Yeah. And Colin's like you, Timmy, right?
Oh, wait, you just started on England, mate. What the hell?
Like, this is the plan. Look at Timmy. Right, look at Colin. Well, the camera's not fully on him. Right, this is what you're going to do, Timmy. Right, we're moving you from goal defense to goalkeeper. We need to shut down the shooter, Matilda. She's having a field day. We're losing. Yeah. So this is the change. Yeah. You see Colin there? These are the instructions. This is the information. Yeah. Timmy's taking it in. Shan's giving some information there to our shooters because they didn't have a particularly great first half as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where the coaching comes in. Timmy's like, look, Timmy's frustrated.
You have 10 minutes.
Colin's like, right, this is the plan. Okay. Right. Second half now. Okay. 3 seconds in, this clip begins. So we see Timmy at goalkeeper. Can I get the ball to my shooter now? No. Can I get my ball to my shooter now? No. Have to swing it around. No. Oh, and Ina takes the interception. Yeah.
Intercepted.
Okay, they that one they gave it back. Okay.
Yeah. But massive change there, though, isn't it?
Massive change. Oh, we talk about Oldham set plays. This is a nice one from Shan. Yeah, so we talk about Oldham moving on. So this is nice. Centre and goal defence, one way, one the other. In. Yeah, and then. So what happens here is Annabelle drives, and I've spoken to Shan about this. So what Annabelle does in the top left, the wing attack. So before we were talking about EV holding, if you have mobile shooters, you can use their mobility to do more stuff. So when the wing attack goes to the pocket here, that opens up this space. And then if you have mobile shooters, Sophie just comes out here and takes this one, gives it to Annabelle, gives it to Tally. And yeah, she just, I think she's going to score, but
she does.
Yeah. Yeah, she don't miss those shots. Okay, right. Now the rest of the highlights is just Timmy off Timmy. Right. Okay, Ryland. Timmy at goalkeeper. Can I feed? No. Actually, also basically, so normally you're taught here, you'll pivot and you're supposed to pivot and look for your goal shooter. So if you see where her feet are pointing, like she's supposed to kind of pivot and look to go here. But Timmy causes so much pressure, they don't even look to feed. They're like, we can't feed from distance anymore. We've got to get the ball to circle edge. So can I feed? Right, I'm looking. Can I feed? Is there space to feed my shooter? No, Timmy's on her. Right, so, okay, I've got the ball here. Can I feed? Timmy's in. No, Timmy's there. Got to go to the side. Can I feed? No, still can't get the ball in. Literally. Wow. Yeah. And this one eventually they score, I think.
Well, like you said before, Hayden, what Shan are doing is they're creating more potential mistakes. So they're
making them Stuff that was in the first half, Ryland was doing in 4 or 5 passes. Now they're having to do 8 passes because Timmy's at the back. And the most important space to protect is under the post. Right. Okay. So, right. More Timmy. Right. Can I feed? And you just see me. They want to get the ball in, but they just have to keep giving it. They can't get it in. Can't get it in. Can't get it to the goal shooter. Have to go back. And that leads to the tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So, like we show Zanair a lot, you know, with the flying intercepts, but also it's the whole unit, right? So we've got Arms over here from the center. We've got Timmy shutting down the goal shooter. Yeah, we've got Isla, the goal defense. She's on the goal attack. Like, all of the Shan players are very close, right? So there's no space for the ball to go. So it's all that pressure. Yeah, and eventually the pressure. Yeah, and Isla just comes around here and just gets a lovely little tip. Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, so you've got all four. It's Timmy is the star, but the co-stars are Alice and Isla, and I forget the name.
I'll be interested.
We up the work rate to protect Timmy.
How did Timmy do against Oldham?
Very well. We will show some of that later. Yeah, quickly. Right, how long have we got?
Can we? To be fair, nobody puts baby in the corner, and I think we should bring Alison in. And
Alison can come in and talk about this as well. Bring Alison in. She likes netball.
Cool. Hey, Alison, how you doing? Hate keeping you in the background. So when people join, I want you to be part of the, you know, I mean, come on.
Look at Alison's house compared to mine. Man, look at Alison's house compared to ours. Jeez.
Yeah, she knows how to paint, mate. That's what that is. She's a woman. She knows how to net.
Right, so anyway, look, the hair's done nice, the outfit. Right. Anyway, so here we've got we need to get through these clips and get through the final, because we haven't shown any. Well, we've shown a little bit of Oldham, but we need to show some more Oldham. So we've got Timmy at the back here, Shan defense. Yeah, and when you do give it, she'll intercept it, right? So it's either you give it to someone else and her teammates intercept it, or you do challenge her and she'll go and get it herself. And then Shan get out running. Again, this is Shan with the 3 overs. Yeah. So you see the way at the circle here. Here you see the wing defense. Alice, they just all jump the line. Jump the line. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then you see the Ryland, like goal defense, goal attack, and wing attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got nowhere to go, right? They're kind of like, and so the ball's forced backwards. So that's a really. Shan was doing this all game against Leeds, all game against Ryland, and it really caused a lot of problems.
That's
okay.
Well spotted.
Well done.
Well played. Well played. You know, well spotted. Well played.
Yeah. So Richard, if the Shan 3 defenders, if you look how tight they are in the middle of the court, where is the space on the court?
They're wide.
Wide. Okay. Right. So we're getting to that. When we get to Oldham, we're getting to that. Okay. So this is Shan.
Did you notice anything the Ryland coaches did to combat the
they did a lot, man. Like they kept changing their players. So we started off with Matilda at goal shooter and Holly at goal attack. After half time, the same. Then they brought in. Right, have we got this big shooter in yet? She came in late in the 3rd quarter. Yeah, I think we're going to see her on this clip actually. So Shan forced the ball back. Yeah. So. If we look at the goal shooter position here now, what they did was they took off Holly. They brought on Sophia, who's kind of a taller, more of a holding goal shooter, and then they moved Matilda to goal attack. So they tried.
I love this from Colin. It's called protecting the palace.
Yeah,
I like that.
Right. So, but you see Timmy here at the back, right? And like every time, can I get the ball into my goal attack or goal shooter? No. Can I get the ball into goal into my shooter? Yeah, I'll try. And she did good on this one. So she came in and made the impact change. So yeah, Ryland made multiple changes, and this is a really good one as well. So we're highlighting Timmy a lot, but we're going to highlight Alice in a second. The wing defense. Yeah, so Alice does really well here. So when the Ryland player turns to get that ball. She thinks Alice, which is the closest person to the ball, closest defender, is going to come and get our 3-foot arms over. And what Alice does is she kind of fakes she's going to do that, and then she just drops off, onto the center. Yeah. So this is really good by Alice, right? So you're taught sort of defending stage 3, sort of get your arms over. Sorry, so stage 2, right? And then Yeah, but she just drops off on the centre, and that confuses the passer. So now, where can she go with the ball? Can you see anyone for her to pass to, Richard?
No, I can't actually.
No. So what happens? Desperation.
Long
And
pass.
Timmy takes the intercept. Yeah.
Well, what do you think of this analysis so far, Alison?
I think it's very good. I think that's what Hayden does. That's his field, and he's very good at it.
Yeah.
What he's doing though, for me, is like, coaches kind of should know what's going on the court with other teams. I think Hayden's making it easier for coaches.
Exposing. Hayden, we haven't got long here, mate. So can we push on to the final?
Okay, so that was that. Right. Okay, let's show. Okay, this one again. So yeah, it's just more stuff. Hang on, if we've got anything different. Let me see. No.
So basically, again,
it's just basically all Timmy. Like all Timmy.
Well, players play their part in the game, but coaches, when some coaches talk about how they just let the players think for themselves, I agree, that's a good thing. But at the same time, as the leader of the pack, you need to step in and you need to take control if things are going wrong. And to the Shan coaches for identifying the problems and sorting them out. And then we get to the end of the game and there's mass celebration and Collins run on the court. And
I love celebrations. I love it. Because it's just that, you know what I mean? I like seeing it.
Yeah. But as I said, they conceded 14 points in the first half and 6 points in the second half. And yeah, Timmy just went into goalkeeper and had an absolute day out. Right. So now we get to our final, Oldham against Shan. And to be honest, this was a bit of a slugfest. So I'm going to go highlight some stuff, although it is the final in terms of like watching stuff to actually like teach people or educate people about netball. It was a bit of a snore fest, to be honest. It was, 19-16 in the final. Oldham was 17-9 up after 3 quarters. They took their foot off the gas and Shan come back in. But Richard, so this is your okay. And I said, right, so we'll go back to Oldham. Always on the set plays. Smoothest set plays in the country. 4 players in the line, 1. Yeah, and then Evie at the back. So it's funny actually. Ava was causing Evie more problems than Timmy because I think just because of the size. And then and this is one thing too we talked about with Zanaya. So we talked about the mobility, and you can also talk about the mobility of Izzy Todd with Paul, right? That shooters like to come out the circle, but when you have an excellent goalkeeper that hunts, you can't just freely come out the circle. So if we look at the top, the left-hand side of the screen here, we see the Oldham goalkeeper, and we're going to see Tally about to exit the circle to try and take this ball. But because she doesn't start from position on the body, she gives the goalkeeper a free line at the ball.
I see.
So, okay. So you can see Annabelle hasn't yet released the ball. Yeah. But the goalkeeper is already in those sort of Zanaya-like strides, like she's seen this one. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, the car crash is about to happen. Yeah.
Bang.
So that was, And then Oldham just take it through the court.
Overhead.
Always overhead. Okay.
Alison,
this is the best one. Richard, I found this one specially for you, Richard.
Oh.
So, right, we saw Ryland before. We saw their wing attack and goal attack getting shut down by the 3 overs. They were all kind of jammed up in the middle of the court. And you said the space was on the side of the court. So obviously Oldham, they're watching the semi-final. And they're preparing for who's going to be in the final. So when Oldham face, right, what do we see here with the wing attack on the right, Richard? Can you see?
Dropping in deep.
Yeah, that's the
gang signs.
Gang signs. Can you see the gang signs? Yeah. So we've got gang signs here from Kayla, the MVP of the tournament from the wing attack. So we've got gang signs. So something's going to happen. So what's going to happen? Where's the space? Yeah. And because it's a set play, she doesn't even have to look. So this is the gang signs. Gang signs. Yeah. Right. You know what Shan are doing.
West side.
Bang, bang, bang.
Oh,
bang.
clever.
Wow.
Clever.
Wow.
They've come round the side of Shan.
Yeah.
Colin, they sussed you out, mate.
And I said, where's Colin? Where's Colin in the chat? Colin, I said to Colin, you can't run these three overs all the time. Like Oldham and Kingsway, they have like smart coaches and players. Like they can adjust, they can come up with stuff, right? So, yeah.
If anyone from Oldham is in the room, can you just confirm that you did notice the Shan defence and you decided to go round them? That'd be interesting.
Richard, that play, they wouldn't have even done that at practice. They would have come up with that play like on the day, right? So the coaches or the players in the huddle, actually at the competition, would have noticed what Shanna's doing and say, we need to call a couple of set plays just to sort of break this structure down, right? So that's not something they would have done at practice. That's something they would have come up with on the day between games, because that's not a normal set play.
Well done, Oldham.
So again, Oldham, this is their structure. 4 players in a line. We see this all the time.
Great camera shot, by the way. Great camera shot. Look at that.
I think one goes to the right here. The other one goes to the left, but then the umpire blows it back. So then Molly's like, okay, they think I'm going to go left. Actually, I'm going to go right now. And then Kayla's going to go to the left. And then I think they blow it dead again. But now it's in the attacking third. So now the goal attack's like, I need to get involved. Kayla's going to go right, and I'm going to go left. Yeah, and beautiful give and goes. And offload and he gets a tip too. So yeah, that's Oldham Netball Club. Set play, structure. This is their other set play. Give, go, and then the two like
they kind of suck out the players to then create the space in the middle, don't they? Yeah.
And they run that. The under 12s and the under 14s, they're all kind of running the same kind of stuff. So yeah, that's Oldham Netball Club. But they've got to come up with new set plays now because I've kind of exposed them.
Alison, is this something that you watch? You know, when you're at the side and you're waiting to play a team, do you actually watch teams so you can see why they're vulnerable and stuff like that?
Yeah, you sort of watch the teams and sort of get an idea of what their setup's like, what's their centre pass set up defensively, what's their centre pass set up in the attack. And so, yeah, you try and sort of cipher what they're doing on the court beforehand.
See, I don't see this because I'm too busy watching the ball on the court. But it's interesting to know that, do you coaches actually like, we're going to watch this game because if they win, whoever wins, we're going to play them. We need to know what we can do.
I think you tend to play against the same teams anyway now. So when you get to a certain level, so you kind of know who the players are. You kind of know, how they play. It's just obviously getting your girls to a standard so they can actually compete with those girls.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So then we're going to, because Shan only lost this game by like 3 points, right? So what I've shown you is Oldham being very structured and very clinical on set plays, right? Now we're going to show Shannon in a couple of situations not being clinical on set plays, which potentially could be the reason why they lost this game. Okay, so this is the offensive transition, right? So this has probably been a miss shot or something. So they're going to inbound the balls here. This is okay. So. And again, this is different. So again, this is something you'll see Alison's players do, Shan players in the south. This when they throw the ball far, the girls up north. Where's my? Oh, I have my netball. Yeah. So yeah, 2-hand overhead. If they want to throw the like northern girls and pool girls, 2-hand overhead. But what you see here, this style throwing it from sort of waist high. Yeah, this is more what you would see from international and Super League players.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that very soon. So let's try and wrap this up.
Right, we're going to wrap this up quickly. Okay. So
just told you that 4 times now, Hayden.
In transition. So we've got Alice, the wing defense here on the inside, and we've got Isla, the goal defense on the outside. Now we put Timmy into goalkeeper. The disadvantage of that is that the goalkeeper, Isla, who spends 95% of the time at goalkeeper, she's now playing goal defense. So she's got a bit more responsibility now in terms of bringing the ball through the court, which is what Timmy would normally do. So, and this requires some precise movements. So she makes a slight mistake here in that when she's driving up the court, she's kind of keeping her head down and she's not really looking at the ball and the rest of her teammates. So whereas Alice is on the inside of her and she's making a move to get this ball, because Isla's not really looked, she's just kind of, she's had a little look here, but she's just kind of run into the kind of similar space that Alice is going into. So she's actually bought the goal attack in there, and it's the goal attack for Oldham that takes this ball, it's not the wing attack, whereas the wing attack would normally be guarding the wing defense in this situation. Yeah, so it's just a little tip and an interception.
Well, Colin does say we will beat them the next time we come.
He's not saying I'm wrong this time, though, right? He's not saying I'm wrong. He's not saying I'm wrong. So yeah, okay.
We will beat them next time.
Okay, one more, Hayden. Give us one more.
Okay, we had gang signs, right? And then this kind of looks like the same thing. The screen's a bit blurry, but you see Kayla going around, right? But now she doesn't go to the side. She actually goes around. She fakes she's going to the side, and it's actually the goal attack that pops through, gets it. Yeah. So you see, basically, what Oldham do is they run different things off the same initial moves to keep you guessing. Right. Yeah. I've got two more. Why Shan lost this game?
Richard says one more. He's like, right, I've got two more.
Oh, so this one. So Colin,
Alison, is he always like this?
So wing attack, top left. The wing attack, Kayla was running wild. So Shan, they went from a 3-over. They went from a 3-over to a 2-over, and we're going to guard the wing attack 1-on-1. Yeah. So you see here now how the goal defense is tracking Kayla all the way up the court here. Instead of just like jumping and forming the line, she's actually gone so kind of forced her higher. Yeah. So that was one adjustment that Colin made to stop Kayla, who was the MVP of the overall tournament. Right. And then I've got two set plays for Shan I'm going to show you. Yeah. Okay. So, and this is a real problem, right? So basically, we've shown Oldham being very clinical on set plays and out of bounds play. So in this play, it's a penalty and the goal defense is out of play. So if we look in the circle here, we've got a goal attack and a goal shooter, and we've got a goalkeeper guarding two players. And the goal defense has got a long way to go because she can't move until this ball's released. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay. But the problem is the structure isn't there, and the goal attack and the goal shooter are kind of too close together.
Well done, defender.
Oldham get the ball. And these are the kind of thing that get coaches fired, like Colin. So, okay. But if that happens once in a game, it's bad. But if it happens twice in a game, that's not good. So again, the goal defense is out. We see a goal shooter and a goal. Two shooters against one goalkeeper.
Well done, defender.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a little bit chaotic. Timmy did play very well against EV. Timmy did win a lot of ball in this game, but Shan was not clinical at attack and Shan was not clinical in transition, and Oldham eventually won 19-16. So that kind of wraps up our review of the under-14s national finals.
You're like the national newspaper there, trying to get the coach, or Colin sacked there. It's their first season in, and they've made it to the final, mate. And you want to sack him because
demand Colin's
the first, mate. I can't believe
Colin is in high demand.
Okay,
where's Colin? Look, the chat's gone quiet. Colin, where's your set play?
Oh, nice from Colin. I don't get fired, I get hired. Nice, Colin.
Okay, guys. Okay. So that leads us in. So if you watch that, please comment and please let us know what you thought of Hayden's analytics. Some really, really good points there, really insightful, and hopefully everyone, coaches, parents, and children, you got something from that. But something we talked about the last review show we did was specifically why we feel, or Hayden feels, the northern teams have got the edge on the southern teams. Now, Hayden has identified a certain way youth players in netball, in the north in particular, pass the ball. There is a prime example of a team in the south doing it, which is Paul Diamonds, which is the kind of the team that has kind of kept us on the edge of our seat for the last 3 or 4 years. They do overhead passes, but in the south, it's very rare that teams will throw the ball predominantly above their head. It's very sporadic in how they pass the ball. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to talk about tonight, it's not about a case of who's right and who's wrong. We've got Alison here from AP Saints, and obviously we've got Hayden. And Alison has been coaching for many, many years, has been involved in netball from a playing career, a coaching career for many years. Level 3 coach, I believe, Alison. If I'm right,
you need to come off of mute, Alison. Alison, you mute your. There you go.
I'm waiting for them to give it to me.
Hayden obviously is the Jamaican video analysis, and he's off to the World Cup very soon to help them try and win it. So the argument is this. This is the argument. This is the debate. Do we focus too much on the pass at a youth level? Do we just allow them to pass the ball the easiest way possible their bodies will allow them, and then focus on the other aspects of the game? Or do we teach good habits, so when they do move into, say, franchise or pathway models or international or club or Super League level netball, they've already got that intelligence on how to pass the ball? So Alison and Hayden are going to discuss, not argue, about why Hayden believes they should be doing it above the head because of their body and because of the success it has. Alison is basically here to say, no, it's all about their development. We need them to pass the ball the way they would do at an international level or Super League level, so they're ready for that transition. So who wants to take the floor first? Hayden, do you want to set the scene, mate?
I'll start.
Okay,
I'll start.
Okay, Alex, let me just explain what the teams are doing. I'm not going to give my opinion. We're going to compare the South and the North. So, Mark, can you share my screen again quickly?
Yep. There we go.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so what this shows is basically what I did was I looked at the first pass thrown by each team this season. Okay.
Wow.
Love a spreadsheet. Love a spreadsheet, mate.
Okay, so basically, I compared the North and the South, and I said, like, basically, when the centre runs to the circle to open the season, what kind of pass are they throwing? Are they throwing a chest pass, a shoulder pass, or a two-handed overhead?
What year group are you looking at, Hayden? What year group?
I think he looks at all of them.
Every group.
Looking at that spreadsheet.
So look, I've got under 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I've got Kingsway, Power Leeds. Everyone's here. So, like, Richard, you've had 83 teams playing across all the age groups this season. So if we look at the North, 85%, if you can see my mouse here, 85% of the centres basically use the two-handed overhead to start for their centre pass. Chest pass was 15%, shoulder was 0%. Yeah. So North, 85%. So it's really a focus. And I would say, actually looking at the games, all of the teams in the North are primarily using a two-handed overheaded pass, other than Oaksway, where I'd say it's a bit more like the South and it's a bit like a mixed bag. And that's only one team, Oaksway under 14s. But pretty much every other team, so out of 39 teams, 38 are exclusively using the two-handed overhead. Right. Wow. Now we go to the South. It's a bit of a mixed bag.
Wow.
So we see terms of the mixture. AP Saints, we have like a couple of shoulder passes, one overhead, one chest pass. Magic is all overhead passes. So it would be interesting to speak to Kiana at some point, because that seems to be a theme throughout her club. And then we've got Sutton Town and Stars, big clubs with chest passes, but it's really a mixed bag. So Alison, take the floor.
Obviously I've been around quite a while, and I've been obviously studying the teams over the years. I've always seen Oldham use the overhead pass, which I've always liked the way they play. I like the way that the timing with the pass works really well. Aiden's obviously got all the stats here, and obviously we know that the northern teams on a whole have been stronger than the southern teams. But I think when you look at this season now, when you look at the under 15s, because obviously I'm coaching in the under 15s, you've got your Pool, you've got your Turnford, you've got ourselves, you've got Kingsway, you've got Oldham, some of these teams that are coming up and are doing quite well. So in terms of the pass itself, I'm just going by my experience. I'm not going by statistics, which Hayden's really good at. I'm just going from my experience and developing girls, in the pathway, in the club, to be the best netballers that they can be. Now, I teach the girls all the passes. They have the shoulder pass, they have the two-handed overhead pass, bounce pass, you name it, I coached it. I then give it to the girls, and the girls have it all in their toolbox, in their locker, whatever you want to call it. And it's up to the girls to decide what is the right pass, because I'm not robotic in the way I coach, and the girls have to think for themselves. And I think when you take the girls out of the club environment, and this is what I've seen over the last couple of seasons with the coaching pathway, when you take some of these girls out of their teams and put them into a scenario like an under-17 NPL setup, then it's difficult sometimes for those girls to adapt to the way other girls play, because they're not in this sort of everybody does exactly the same, we pass the same. And that's what I've experienced this season. But I've never coached my girls, because even when you look at my players in my club, every player is different. You know, no two players are the same, no two players pass the same or move the same. I look at the player and think, right, what is she good at? What are her strengths? What are her weaknesses? And I will push their strengths and I will try and change their weaknesses. And for me, it's about, trying to help girls develop, whether it's in the club, whether it's in the franchises, whether I'm doing camps for yourself, Richard, or whoever. It's about what can I do to develop these girls, and
so
how
Alison,
how can I get the best out of them?
So you're saying, Alison, by kind of strictly teaching one particular pass, you're kind of potentially restricting their ability to be successful in a franchise environment. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't think that's strictly what I'm saying, because when you look at a lot of the Oldham and Kingsway girls, there's a lot of those girls in their pathway. But I think for us down south, and I'm only going by my own experience, the girls who use the same pass a lot, don't vary their passes, and you see them in that environment, I feel that they don't come across as good as when they're actually in those setups. But our job when they come to the pathway is to help them to be able to adapt.
So by teaching a variation of passes, they're more adaptable to different environments.
Yeah.
Okay,
you just have to go to trials. You've got trials coming up soon. The girls who can adapt to different styles of play, passing, throwing, catching, those are the girls that are going to do well at trials.
So do you accept, though, to a certain extent, that the overhead pass, say at under 12s, under 13s, I know when they get a bit older it becomes a bit different, but say 12s and 13s in particular, you're going to have more success. Do you accept that?
Yeah, I accept that. Well, I accept the fact that, coaches now, I see that a lot of coaches are drilling girls, and they're drilling girls to move a certain way, pass a certain way, and they're successful. They're very successful, because we've seen it with some of the clubs. But I think when you're looking at long-term development, then you have to just teach them all the passes, and it helps their decision making. It's all about the game sense, So if they've got all those passes in their lockers, they will make the decision what pass I need. Just recently, we had a tournament at the weekend, and there was a big tall goalkeeper in the circle, and I'm looking at the players like, why are you not putting a bounce pass onto her? Why are we trying to pass over her? So it's about them using their own sort of intelligence to make those decisions.
Right, Hayden. So some great points there. I can't really argue with anything Alison's saying there.
No, I agree. I agree with it. So basically, what obviously I've looked at all the video, and see, Alison's words mean something because she's been in the game for so long. She's coached at club level, NPL level, etc. I've been in the game for 2 years, and when I'm sat in a room with Janelle Fowler and Shamira Sterling, my words mean nothing. But when I come with clips, stats, and evidence, they listen, right? So basically, in terms of what Alison and Colin and Haley are saying in the chat, that will develop young players. But what Poole have done and what Kingsway have done is they've found a way, right? A 12-year-old body or a 15-year-old girl's body is not the same as an adult girl's body. So in the sort of the strive to win netball games, they found a way of passing, right, which is more effective and will lead to better outcomes, right? So I've got some clips here. So can you share my screen, please?
Yeah.
So this is your team, and we've got two. We're gonna. So, and this is the key advantage of the overhead pass, right? So Okay, so we've got, I think it's Freya at wing defense for Paul. She's going to pass it to Sasha. Right, so Sasha's going to take it here. And this is the position, right? So can you see this position here of Sasha? Yeah. Now, you will never, ever see any professional netball player in this position, right? Because what they do is they hold the ball low around their chest and they catch it and they keep it there and they whip it. And what you'll talk about the overhead passes, you use it like if someone's got arms over, you might raise the ball up and use it for you use it for shorter passes, but actually for longer passes, you're using a chest pass or a shoulder pass to whip it low and flat. But 15-year-olds, but especially 12-year-olds, they don't have the hand strength or the hand size, the wrist strength, and the body strength of adults. So what they do have is strong back muscles, but they don't have they have small hands and they have smaller chest muscles. So what Hayley and what Lauren have done at Kingsway is they found a way of passing, right, that by using the back muscles, they can get 12-year-old girls to pass the ball in the same manner as Super League players, as in short and flat. And the advantage it has here is, so if you look at Sasha here, right, she's going to catch the ball and she's going to fire this ball into the pocket, right?
Yeah.
Richard? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go forward. No, because Letty's here and Letty's guarding the player. And so she's about to release that ball. No, she can stop because she's got two hands on the ball. So I think that's the key. I think the shoulder pass is a disastrous pass, especially at a young level. When you have two hands on the ball, you can catch it, swivel, start your passing motion and go. Sorry, let me go this way. And if I see something I don't like because I've got two hands on the ball, I can stop. With the shoulder pass, I can't stop. And with a chest pass, because my hands are behind the ball, it's harder to stop.
Can I stop you there, Hayden? Can I
Go
stop
ahead,
you
Alison.
there? Tell me how the pass travels. How does that two-handed pass, how does it travel through the air?
So actually, it travels at a pretty low trajectory. I'm going to show you some film of Kingsway under 12s, which probably show it better. Because normally we say short, sharp, and flat. If it's short, sharp, and flat, they can't intercept it.
What did you just say? It travels at a low trajectory. I can't say direction.
Reasonably low. It's not like they're ballooning it.
Yeah.
So basically, because what Lauren and Hayley have done, when you talk about an overhead pass, they say don't bring it all the way behind your head. They say keep it like here and flick it, right? And they say if you bring the ball all the way behind your head and throw it, it's difficult to control the release point, and you might sail the pass over who you're trying to throw it to.
So it's straight. Now, we're quite a defensive team. And, you know, we played Poole over the weekend, twice over the weekend. We had 2 great games with them in tournaments. And they are very quick, very, very quick, and they move quick, and they you know, they've got it locked down to a T. But the pass is still traveling flat. And if you've got defenders who are doing their job correctly, as in 3 feet, not 5 feet, because I noticed just a minute ago with some of the clips you were showing, a lot of the defenders are marking at 4 feet, 5 feet. Sometimes they're even zoning.
Are you going back to the under 14s now? Yeah.
Yeah, but if you are 3 feet away, and you're defending as in one, either timing your jump or you've got hands over ball and putting a pressure onto the ball, and the person that you're passing to is doing their job, that pass is quite easy to intercept. Now, especially when putting a ball into the circle to a shooter. Okay.
Yeah, so typically we're talking more about through court or long passes, right? So when people get closer to circle edge, you see more chest passes and low pass. Like Ella doesn't even really throw shoulder passes. So the advantage of the two-handed overhead is because you've got 2 hands on the ball, you can stop. And Sasha doesn't make a great pass here, but we will show her making a great pass. So she pivots and she kind of swings it. She goes for a long one over here to Katie, right, which goes out of bounds.
But you said, yeah, exactly, went out of bounds.
Yeah.
But also as well, you said with the two-handed pass, you can stop. You can stop if you've got a shoulder pass. Because
no, you can't.
With a shoulder pass, you still have one. Can I just? You're taking your hand off the ball there, Hayden.
So how do you want me to play the shoulder pass?
You're doing a shoulder pass. You're doing a one-handed pass. With a shoulder pass, you have one hand on the ball to pass with. The other hand is on the ball to steady it. And it's only when you go to release it, does that other hand come off the ball.
Okay, right.
If you had one hand on the ball and you were pushing the ball, then yes, you would not be able to. Now, you have to remember, I'm quite a technical coach in that I don't even look at session plans. I look at girls as I'm coaching, and I will say, if there's something I want to coach that's within a session, I make it up in my head. I don't have to go through session plans where I just know exactly what I want to see, and I will make up what I need to do for me to get that outcome. So in terms of, as long as I can get that ball through the court, we can use any pass as long as it's not a pass that's in the air for very long. And also it's short and sharp. Now, what I find is we saw Sasha with that ball. She had it 1 second. She caught it 1 second. She brought it back 2 seconds. And then she's got to release it.
Oh, no, she stopped. She stopped because she had 2 hands.
But if she wanted to release it because someone's ready to receive that ball, if you think 1, 2, 3, that ball's gone. Or here, you still, it's a slower pass than if you catch it here as a shoulder pass, you're releasing it straight away.
Agreed. And that's why adults do that. But the problem is 12-year-old girls don't have strong shoulder muscles to do that. So if you could just share my screen from the way, I'm just going to play this through. And then...
But also as well, Hayden.
I'm trying to stay out of this, Richard. Leave them to devour it. I've got a few things.
But the point Hayden, I think, is trying to make is that he's not disagreeing with Alison in effect to how the pass should be played. What he's saying is, why do it if their bodies can't do it?
Yeah.
Why are you wasting your time?
Because they're able to launch that ball a hell of a lot, a long way up the court.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't forget, my thing is development.
Yeah, true.
So where you've got, a girl who's 13 years old and she's been doing this pass the whole time. Now we go to under 17s NPL and you're playing with other girls and you're still only able to do that pass because you've not been doing any of the other passes. My thing is about that long-term development. I want to try and get girls into NPL squads. I want to get or I want to get girls in the NPL squads to be able to go on into under 19s. Last season, I was in the futures. A lot of the futures players ended up in NPL squads, and girls that weren't even in the, being looked at. I had one girl, Princess, who went from being in a futures squad to being, everybody saying, "Wow, how brilliant is she in an NPL environment?" And it is about development. And if
but don't you think that's a bit unfair? You saying though that if it's not like they're only learning the overhead; they're learning the other passes. It's just that they're using these overhead passes to launch the ball and get it further.
Yeah, but it's consistent, isn't it? They're doing it all the time. You're not seeing that much variation of pass in their game.
Is that true, Hayden? Are you not showing us the other side of the story? Has Alison picked up on something here?
So basically, I have no doubt. Right, I have no doubt that Lauren doesn't have her Kingsway under-10s practicing shoulder passes.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hayden. I agree with you.
Right, we don't see them in the games because I think in the Northeast they have a clear desire to win games. Yeah. So when they get into a match situation, they're going to use the passes that's going to win the games. Yeah. So they're practicing shoulder passes, but we ain't going to see those Kingsway's girls doing shoulder passes until they're about like 50, 60. Even I watched some of Kingsway under 15s. Yeah. Very rare. It's very rare to see any team in your Northern Conference, other than Oaksway, a couple, throw a shoulder pass.
Yeah, so, but then we played Kingsway at Nationals last year, and we were neck and neck for the whole game. So you had the two-handed overhead pass versus the one-handed shoulder pass, and a variation of lots of other passes. But still, there was one goal in it, and it could have been anybody's game.
So, Alison, so the video, I don't know if you could, can you see it all, the video that's playing?
Yeah, I've got it there. I'm sharing the screen.
So this is the shoulder pass derby, right? So out of all the teams in your league, AP Saints, they don't throw the most shoulder passes. Charnwood Rutland throw the most shoulder passes. They're even more than AP Saints. But because these girls are 12 and 13, and Alison was criticizing my technique because she said I was taking my hand off the ball. So with a shoulder pass, you kind of need that the hand a little bit behind the ball to propel it forward. But because these girls are so young and the ball's so heavy for them, they're getting their hand like under the ball, and then they're kind of like.
But not really, Hayden. It depends on who's coaching them, because first of all, you don't have your hand under the ball. You have your hand on the side of
the ball. But then it will drop. If I have my hand here, it's going to drop.
No. You've got one hand, Hayden. You've got one hand here. The other hand is on the side, steadying that ball.
Yeah, but my 12.
Can I finish? Some people coach where they've got one hand here and the other hand's in front of the ball, which means when you're trying to push that ball, you've got the other hand that's stopping that. It has to be one hand behind the ball, the other one on the side to steady that. You know.
But my point is my little 12-year-old hands. If I have one hand to steady it, it's going to fall. So basically,
straight away, you've got the wrong technique there that I'm seeing.
But I'm 12. I haven't got big hands. If I got big hands, I can do this. Yeah, but if I got little 12-year-old hands, and as you can see, like from this footage of this is basically the shoulder pass derby, Charnwood Rutland against AP Saints. These girls are having real difficulty, like just keeping a firm grip on the ball. And so if we look at the results from the season, Charnwood Rutland, they scored 7, 11, 13, 5, right? But the Charnwood Rutland story actually kind of has a happy ending, because the last game, they scored 24 points. And I'm like, how do you go from scoring like 5 or 10 points in a game to 24 points? And literally, I don't want to show clips of 13-year-old girls just making mistakes without actually showing the positives. And when Charnwood Rutland... Yeah. Hang on. Hopefully this will...
I think as coaches, we're here to develop the girls.
Yeah, but Alison, when I can always look back at look at football as a primary case, and I think the most consistent pass in football is with the side foot. It's the most controlled way to pass the ball from A to B. It gives you the most success when you're playing football. But is it not a case of just kind of negating, not putting too much emphasis on the pass, and then saying, look, let's get the pass from A to B as quick as possible and as controlled as possible, and let's focus on movement of the players. Let's focus on other aspects of the game. Let's not put too much emphasis at 12 years old or 13 years old on a pass. Let's just do it in the safest, most constructive way.
And that's what you're doing by teaching the girls all the passes. You do all of those passes, but at the same time as teaching them the pass, you're also giving them the opportunity to develop their game sense. So they make those decisions of what pass they want to use, depending on what's going on in front of them.
But there is an aspect that they're not actually physically developed enough to play these passes. So like when I see clubs, or when I see anyone really, like doing press ups with kids and like little lunges and dips and stuff, I can't bear to watch it, because at 12, 13 years old, their bodies are not developed enough for them to do these type of exercises. I would focus more on core strength skills, so they got more balance and coordination when they play. So
but the proof is in the pudding, because you've got Shan's under 12s or under 13s doing as well as all the other teams. And
no, they're not.
They're not just
defensively, offensively. Shan will be the team that I think if they change their passing style to mimic these teams in the Northwest could really sort of make a difference. So, right. Anyway, right. I've got one.
Yeah, I'm just saying the most success in my events and England netball events is from the northern teams, and I know when they get to a certain age, they have to have a variation of passes, because you can't just go around doing the same thing the whole time. Yeah. But at 12 and 13, or maybe 14, with their bodies not physically developed, why pass the ball a certain way?
I think it's down to your philosophy. You know, are we coaching girls to play netball now and win under 12 tournaments and under 14 tournaments? Mm-hmm. Or are we coaching girls to be the next lot of NPL players and Super League players? You know, so, you know, when I look at the success that we've had as a club with players and where they've obviously got to, you know, I don't think Aaliyah very rarely threw a two-handed overhead pass.
Yeah,
You know,
no, I understand what you're saying.
But they still, you know, reach their full potential and playing at high levels. So sometimes there's that, you know, if it's not broken, why fix it? It's been working for us as a club. It's been working for our athletes. And when you look at the sort of NPL environment, you know, I take Aramide, one of our players at Mavs at the moment. You know, she's getting player of the match every time. She's not been using a two-handed overhead pass.
No,
yeah, but
again,
I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny here, though, right? To me, you're not winning in the ENG league. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not walking away with the cups and the medals. So, and that's no disrespect. I totally agree with what you say.
That's not. But as I said to you, what I said was, it's not my philosophy. That's not my end goal. My end goal is to get as many girls playing NPL. You know, even getting girls into playing for England and, you know, Super League. That's my personal goal as a coach, and to get girls to universities playing in top teams at university. It's not about the medals and the goals. You know, yes, I want to win. I'm not saying I'm not competitive. I'm very competitive.
Oh, I know you're competitive. I see how much hard work you do. So,
But I am, as I'm coaching and I'm in those coaching environments, I'm looking at players and I'm trying to coach them the best that I can to be able to develop the best that they can. And for me, I'm not coaching a two-handed overhead pass for every pass in a game.
So do you coach then to teach them how to rip apart the overhead play? Is that what you're doing then?
No, I'm not doing that. Not at all, because we do use.
Oh, no such word as can't, Hayden.
Yeah, we do use two-handed overhead passes, but it's down to the player to decide what pass is needed. But the point is, if you're not going to use that yet, let's say, for instance, the North is, do you concentrate in a coaching way to actually defeating anybody who's going to try and use that play 99% of the time? Yeah, we try. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you try and do that. With any team, it doesn't matter whether they use two-handed overhead pass or not. You go out and you think, right, this is what this team does. How do we defend against that?
Because what the overhead pass does, and it's quite clear to see, it gets the ball down the court as quickly as possible.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
it's the strength. They're using the back muscles to get the strength to transition the ball. So,
and two hands. Yeah. The other thing as well, Rich, I say that the shoulder pass is quite like you see, like Alison was explaining to me. I'm not doing it properly. I haven't got my hand in the right position. That's because like the left hand and the right hand and the left hand side and the right hand side of the body are doing different things.
Yeah.
So it's a hard pass to master. Whereas with this two-hand overhead, like I'm here, like basically I'm working symmetrically, right? The left hand and the right hand are doing the same thing. So me as a passer, I'm not really worrying about the pass. I'm expending all my energy like on my eyes to see what's happening on the court and if my players are open. So like
I'm not saying that you can't use it or you shouldn't use it. What I'm saying is I'm not having 7 girls on the court doing the same thing throughout the court, and this is how we do it. There's a set way. Now, I feel that when I look at the players on the court, and I'm going to talk to you from a selection perspective. When you're at trials and you are selecting girls, sometimes it's very difficult to pull out girls. You sort of look for the girls who stand out, that have got that X factor, that are different. When you've got all the girls doing the same, looking the same, moving the same, you're not really finding the good. You know, then they tend not to be those girls that are like, wow, like, did you see her? Do you understand? Does that make sense? If everybody's the same and they're all sort of clones of each other, you know. So and when you just have to look at, say, some of the franchises now. You've got your Halimats and your Fummies, and they're all different. They move differently. They pass differently. You know, you got your you know, Elia, your Kiras. They're all completely different players.
Hayden, would you say strictly doing an overhead pass kind of restricts their ability, kind of restricts them and makes them a more robotic player, like Alison's saying, and that's not good for the overall development of the player?
Right. So basically all the games I've looked at is close games, right? So I haven't really looked at games like where Kingsway are winning by sort of 20, 25 points to see if they're doing it then. I'm pretty sure they're doing it in practice. So, right. So I've got one last clip to show, Mark, if you could share this.
Yeah.
Screen again. Like Alison did allude to Shan under 12s earlier, and we did kind of show this in our under 12 review show. So like when we play it here, and so if we look at Shan, it's their centre pass, how they pass, right? So we see Poppy here. She's even kind of bending down a little and kind of driving the ball with her legs. Yeah. So they hold it low. That's kind of a chest pass. And then this is what I don't like is when they only have one hand on the ball, and like that clip I showed you earlier. Well, when I was running the clip of Charmwood Rutland under 13s against AP Saints under 13s, it's because the ball's so heavy and their hands are so small. Like Poppy's got one hand on the ball here. Like, can you see?
Yeah.
And this is where it causes the problems, right? It's like she's an excellent passer, but it just kind of now she puts two hands on the ball because her grip's a bit loose, but she's wasted time because she's had one hand looking for the shoulder pass. Then it's like, oh, and now what am I going to do? Yeah. So then the ball kind of goes wide, right? But all these passes are low. Now we're going to see a massive difference because Kingsway is going to get the ball now. And Alison, when you talk about monotonous and robotic, like these girls all have exactly the same technique, right? So we haven't really got a back bend here because it's a little pass. So they hold it high. I think this is Polly. So little one, don't need, but when they need to throw it far, it's this bend in the back. Yeah, so we see it here from Lottie. Right, and you'll see it here, but you'll clearly see it on this pass here.
Wow.
That passing motion actually looks scary to me, right? Because I can probably zoom in a bit here. Let me make this a little bit.
But also as well, Hayden, if you look at this girl here with the ball, there's no defender in front of her.
It's because they've transitioned it so quick, Alison.
Richard, thank you. So that's the point, right? This is why Paul and Kingsway are so successful. It's because they're using the overhead pass to get the ball down the court quickly, so your defense can't adjust. Right?
No, this is why I was asking earlier.
I would disagree with that. There is no defense there
because they've moved it. So look how quickly.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether they move the ball or not. If you were with the player in the first place, she wouldn't be getting the ball.
Stay with them.
No.
The whole court's open now, one-on-one.
I disagree with you there. You disagree because now we're looking at defence now. We're not looking at the pass because...
Okay, so we look at defence. Okay, so Kingsway've got his out of bounds, right? But what happens is, you see these Kingsway players, they're actually able to get the depth on sort of second and third phase that a Super League team would get by utilising this pass. So the defenders are here now. Defenders are there, right? Good pressure, good arms over.
It's not about the player with the ball. It's about the player without the ball.
They're guarded.
Okay.
That's pressure. That's
and
pressure.
It depends on how tight the defense is. You know, we're sort of speaking. You know, you can't really sort of say they're moving the ball quickly down the court because it depends on who you're playing against, what the defensive setup is. You know, we've played against Kingsway quite a few times now, and we've had some really good competition with them. And they've been moving the ball through the court very quickly. But we've still
the defense is really good. I said, Alison, the defense is really good here. If you look at what Shan achieves on the first two passes, like they track them well and they force this one short because this is excellent. Shan is an elite defensive team.
Yeah, but then if you look at the girl who's about to get the next ball, she's already ahead of her player.
Okay, yeah, but Polly's in a nice position to undercut that pass. Poppy's in a nice position to undercut that pass and go for an intercept.
But the space is there. The space is there for her to run in as well.
And they force her back, but then it's this pass. Yeah, and as I said, this is a goal defense. These northern teams are so good in offensive transition, right? So
you wouldn't reach this pass now. Wouldn't get there as quickly with a shoulder pass, would it?
No,
yes, it would.
You cannot.
Yes, it would because you wouldn't be pulling
not with that big arm over pressure.
You wouldn't be pulling it back. You wouldn't be doing this and then doing that. You'd catch it and you'd release it in a shoulder.
12-year-olds can't do that. They don't have the shoulder strength to do that.
But this is it. You say they don't have the strength. This is where the ball programs come in and they develop that.
Doesn't matter. Like a 12, it doesn't matter what the size of the ball program. A 12-year-old girl is not going to get.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
But Richard, one thing I want to say is, right, you see this bend in the back here? I don't think an adult female can throw a ball like that. See, so basically what Lauren's done, the monster, so basically I think Poole has about like 150, 200,000 people. So Poole is competitive in every age group. And then they have an under 15 team that is capable of being the best in the country, probably, you know, second or third. But what Lauren's done, she's in Manchester with a big population and a culture of netball. So what she's done is she's leveraging these girls' bodies to the absolute maximum. Can you see the curvature in this girl's spine? That looks
like a spring loaded, without a doubt.
Look, it's spring loaded, right? So look at the bend in the spine. Yeah. So basically,
is that a good thing? Is that a good thing? The bend in the spine.
I don't know, man. I think you need to look at that. You need a doctor.
Seriously, we now need to get a physiotherapist or someone.
Yeah, we have to track these kids girls over a period of time. Because this is a violent throwing action, right? The bend in that girl's spine. So if you look at the spine's bent now, and then when she comes to release the ball, how it's straightened. So look at the spine.
So are you saying it should be banned then?
But it's not just it's not just about the bend in the spine. It's all about the shoulders as well. Look at the work.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is not good for the body. So actually,
well, I don't know. 12-year-old girls are supple, right? So a lot of gymnasts kind of peak at like 14 or 15, right? When you watch Olympic gymnastics, I know they're a little bit older now, but sort of, I don't know, back in the sort of 80s and 90s, you have like gold medal winners at 14 years old. So a 12-year-old girl, I think, is able to bend her spine like that in a way that a 20-year-old like female would not be able to do. That spine position looks
right.
scary.
Let me just hold it there for 1 second. Just hold that thought. We've got Haley Miles saying it's not a type of pass here. Their teams are accurate, great at timing, and know exactly who should be getting it next. It also puts, I have a 12-year-old who has shoulder pass well, some who can't. We use a variety to suit the situation and the player. And of course, Colin's jumped in with, it's not a good thing. Yeah. Right. I just wanted to get that out there because people obviously putting stuff out there. It's quite an interesting debate. I'm loving this.
I would look at that as I know exactly what Alison's saying, and I know what Haley's saying, because there are girls who can throw the ball from a shoulder. There are unique cases, but you cannot get away from the fact that an under 12s and under 13s age group in particular, the northern teams with this type of pass are transitioning the ball a lot quicker, and they're getting a lot more success in games. Yeah. So, you know,
I don't think that. To be fair, I don't think that's just down to.
Right. Yeah, you can hide. I'm coming back with one more from Paul.
It goes back to I don't think
that's just down to the passes. I just think that northern teams are strong anyway, regardless.
I disagree. I disagree.
But Alison, it goes back to my point. As a football player, you need to get the ball from A to B as safely as possible. So we were taught to do a side foot pass, which is used 80% in most football.
Yeah, but that's not. You know, who was that? Miles, who came up on the screen.
Yeah. She just put. Hey, Miles agrees with Alison. She said that's not why though.
Yeah, it's all about way to get the ball.
Everything else that comes into it. What is your? You know, what are you doing defensively? You know, what are your shooting stats? It's all of that. You can't say, you know, you're winning games just because of passing.
No,
everything.
No, but I think
this is what I'm wrong. Richard, I think all of the edge.
You can move the ball through court as quickly as you want, as accurate as you want. If your shooters are missing at the end of it, or your shooting stats are low, you're not going to win games.
But Alison, the point I'm making is if there's too much focus on the pass and different passes, I think the northern teams are basically saying, you know, let's just pass it one particular way. And let's focus on the shooting. Let's focus on their movement. Let's focus on the different aspects, the other aspects of the game, and they're improving on that in that game, and not focusing too much on the pass.
All right.
Can you share my screen a second?
Question for you.
Hang on, let Alison. I'll bring it on a sec.
How many of, just from where I'm at in the pathway, how many of the girls who are passing that way are actually making it into NPL squads?
I was waiting for that.
But wait, all of these girls in Manchester Thunder, right? They would have been passing this way.
No. I'm on about down here where we are. I'm only on about where we are, because we've got girls who are passing two-handed passes, and And which team is at the top of the league? Who's winning? Who won under 19s NPL this year?
Pulse.
Exactly. Are all those girls doing two-handed overhead passes? No, they're not.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Under 17 NPL, who's
Pulse.
won that? Under 15s, who won?
And Pulse with a lot of under 15s in the team as well.
Yeah, and which one of those were two-handed passes over the head?
So one observation I've made
is you might need
in the first 7.
Yeah. So actually,
Hayden, why don't you get the live stream from them, and then check it out and let us know the data from it?
Yeah. Well, there ain't no data, man. There ain't no footage of England nationals or
What? There's no live streams.
If you get me the video, I'll break the video down.
But listen, I'm going to say something to help Hayden out here.
Yeah.
If you look at the ANZ, and you look at how they pass, they do use a lot in New Zealand of the two-handed overhead pass. I'm just going to help you out there, Hayden.
Okay.
She's smiling.
I help you out there. That's one you didn't know, but I've just told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would say, like, if you look at the teams in the Northwest, like Oldham, they use the two-handed overhead, but like if you look at like Shannon in particular, who's under 15 part of the England program, she uses it in the traditional way. So she catches the ball, she raises it high, but she's not really doing these crazy like putting it behind her head like what Sasha does. She's holding it here and sort of flicking with her fingers, which is how you're traditionally taught to throw an overhead pass.
What you want to do is watch that pass with Fumi in front of her and see if they get those passes out.
So that's the point. So if you have good defense, it will stop the pass. But what I'm saying is the reason the Western teams have more success is when they complete the pass and when there is no defense, they're going 10 meters, whereas the Southern teams are going 5 meters. So Haley was talking about Super League teams transition. Martin, can you share my screen here?
Yeah.
Show me one team in Super League, Suncorp, international netball that can transition like this, right? So this is the mighty Oldham, okay? So we're going to have a shot here. There's Danica. Okay, so a pass and Paul get the intercept, right? So Gracie is out on the run. Two-handed overhead. Bang, bang, bang.
I've done your camera.
Yeah? Who can transition like that?
Yeah,
no one in the world.
Transitioned it, but defensively, there was no defense through there.
They don't give you any time to set up a defense. They move so quickly.
I disagree with you because the girls have not been set up. Look, one person's got the ball. They've now got possession of the ball.
Well, that's very quick.
They haven't shut down the players from running.
We've got the gang sign up.
But I'm not going to give away my coaching tips now anyway.
So the point is, good defense can shut down good offense. But the problem is, when the defense is not there, when the defense is slightly late, Paul scored.
But they're unmarked. The girls are running and there's nobody running.
Right, but sometimes your girls will be unmarked. But the thing is, because when your girls are unmarked, they're still going to have to make 3 or 4 or 5
if my girls are unmarked, they're still going to get the ball through court with a one-handed shoulder pass.
Not this quickly.
Girls are unmarked.
No one can do this. No one in the world can do this. And this is against Oldham, the mighty Prem 1 winners, biggest netball club in the country.
It would happen with a one-handed shoulder pass if you're unmarked.
But how do you mark?
But would you move it as quick as that? As that?
I think you're forgetting. Every time she catches the ball, she has to bring it back.
No, she actually brings it back.
If you caught it with a one-hand shoulder pass, you would have released it already.
But their arms are not strong.
I think we need to go on site. I think we need to do an experiment where we can actually put this on the court.
We're not just talking about under 12s here. We're talking about girls netball. Yeah, we keep bringing it back to under 12s and their strength and We're not talking about that. We're talking about girls netball and passing generally. You keep bringing it back to under 12s.
Not here. This is under 15s.
Yeah, these are under 15s, but you're using with under 12s.
This is we've got England players like in this clip. We've got England players, we've got Bath NPL players, we've got Manchester Thunder NPL players, we've got London Pulse NPL players. But
Bath didn't beat London Pulse. We beat London Pulse under 17s, but London Pulse beat Bath under 17s.
London, there's a lot smaller population in that area than in London. So really,
it doesn't matter. A win is a win.
Hang on. So if a win's a win, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If
a win's a win, why aren't you incorporating that when you're in the ENG league?
Incorporating what?
the overhead pass, because at the moment you're losing.
What we're talking about is are those passes winning you games? I'm proving to you by London Pulse beating Bath, and you're saying that all of these girls are at Bath and wherever, they didn't beat us.
Yeah, but that's when that. To be fair, though, I'm trying to help Hayden out here a bit. But that's when they've started to develop and start to grow the chest muscle. Under 12s, no. So for under 12s and under 13s, isn't the overhead pass better so they can throw it further?
Yeah, but going back to what I said at the very beginning, I'm in coaching for development long term, not for under 12s and under 13s. I don't want to get to under 16s and be on coaching something that I coached in early years. So
you're saying it can go against them then?
You know, I've just had girls join our club back in January, and a lot of their passing was from down here. And that's how they've been coached, is to have the passes from the hips. And over this period, you know, that was my under 14 team that won the London and South East regional. You know, they're now bringing the ball up and they're releasing it from a shoulder pass. Now, I'm sure if my players then went to university in Manchester later on, then they might be coached to do the overhead pass.
No, I disagree. So, Alison,
but what I'm saying is, it's you know, it's whatever is going to help you to develop as players. Some coaches, their philosophy is about win. Mine is about development. So I'm just talking from, you know, my perspective. Yes, I do.
Oh, this is a great one. This is a great one. This is.
So basically, I say, like, can I have my screen back on again? So basically, what happened in this Paul Oldham game, right, which is probably like the biggest destruction that I've ever seen on a netball court, where Paul hung 44 on Oldham. Oldham have excellent coaches, right? They have people in the England program. So Paul hit them, right, with the clip that we just saw with that transition. And after the first quarter, the Oldham coaches are like, we've got to adjust. So basically now, all of their defenders are now forced backwards to defend these long two-handed overhead passes. And it's not like Oldham don't throw the two-handed overhead. It's just that Paul and Kingsway have taken it to a next level where Lauren's got these girls doing the back bend and bending their spine to get maximum velocity and distance.
That doesn't sound very good, Hayden.
and we'll show Sasha here in the. Okay, so this is the position. Yeah, so you see Sasha in the position here. When Sasha is 20 years old, she will never, ever be in that position. Hang on, I'll zoom in a little bit.
I'm not going to argue with you because that Paul team is an amazing team.
Yeah.
And I think they still would be amazing if they were using a shoulder pass because they've been together since they were in year 5, year 4, and they've been playing together forever.
But the argument is
the same girls
across the court. With a shoulder pass is quick.
The same girls have been together for a very, very, very long time. Whereas if you look at my under 15 team, I've had lots of girls come and join the club, and I'm coaching girls at different levels coming in, and it's coming together. I've got an amazing squad. I'm looking forward to next season, and I'm looking forward to playing these teams because it's, you know, it's for me, it's nothing to do with the past.
Yeah. So again, looking at this clip, actually, Paul throw the majority of chest passes. So what Paul do is, if there's no pressure on them, like Alison's saying, if there's no pressure on you, just quick pivot and the one-handed shoulder pass. I disagree with that
because you know that they have that variety of you know, passing in their locker.
So basically, if there's no one on you, I would advocate a chest pass, or basically most passes in netball, even at the elite level, they're a traditional chest pass. They tell you to have like both hands give it equal force. But what most internationals are doing is one hand is providing slightly more force than the other. So when Paul get the ball here, right, I think it's maybe Martha. Okay, Martha gets it here. She sees that the wing defense probably for areas open, chest pass. Then now I've got arms over pressure. So how do I beat the pressure? Get the ball in the air, little overhead, chest pass because she's open. Yeah. So no wasted movement. This is what Alison likes.
That's good.
This is what Alison liked. This. But then Sasha's like, right, I'm going to pivot and get the ball behind her. So if someone is long, I can immediately go to them. If someone's not long, I might do something else.
But if you take that back, Hayden, take that back to when Sasha catches the ball.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so she drives out to the right, she catches the ball, boom,
Beautiful
she's got it there
pivot.
in that hand. She
Yeah.
could have literally turned and released that quicker, but yet she stops, she brings it back, and then she
But she's not sure, right? Because there's a defender here. So
yeah,
she's
but what
not
I'm saying
sure.
is if there was a player there, she would have still stopped and brought that ball back, because that is the style of pass that she uses. Whereas where she's gone off to the right and she's got that ball in her right hand, she could have just released it a lot quicker.
Released it to who?
If there was a player there, I'm saying, if there was a player there.
Well, there's no player in front. She wants to go long. And if she goes long, a shoulder pass is going to go short on flat. And this girl here is going to have a potential to intercept it. But because with the two-handed shoulder, you can get the trajectory over that defender. This is an amazing pass by Sasha as well. One of the best passes you'll see, right? So she gets it, pivots, bang.
Yeah, but that's what
straight
I'm saying.
into the pocket.
If you go back to that, Hayden, she gets it.
Yeah.
There, she's got it there now. All she needed to do was plant that foot and release it. Instead, she's got to plant the foot, pull the ball back, and then release the ball.
Because she's
Would she have been able to cover the same distance with
Yes, she would with a shoulder pass. Yes, she would.
Listen, if that was Nat Metcalf,
and she'd be able to put a lift on it if she needed to. Whereas with the flat pass, you don't really get a lift on the pass.
See, this is why I sort of agree and
disagree. I'm not going to criticise Poole, because I think Poole are amazing and they've got a great squad. But I'm just saying there's different ways to pass the ball and there's different ways to release the ball. I don't think it's just down to their passing why they're an amazing squad.
Yeah, I do.
An amazing team.
So I think so.
Everything.
So I think that all of the edge that the Northwestern teams have, right, is down to passing. Like, we can highlight other things in terms of Oldham with their structure on set play, structure on the centre pass. You know, we talk about the gang signs and having called centre passes.
I disagree. You know why I disagree? Because when you now look at the pathway and you look at, you know, there was a great game the other day between Turnford and Bury in the final of the Nationals. And that went to extra time. And you had lots of different passes. And Bury, they weren't just doing overhead passes. They both got to the final. Turnford got to the final. They weren't just doing overhead passes. And so I just think the argument smashed, to be quite honest.
Was that live streamed?
Was it live streamed?
No.
It might have been. I'm not sure. You know.
How about the Bury versus AP Saints game?
Yeah, and we had the Bury v AP Saints game.
Well. I've got it. I've got the footage. I've got the video. I can bring it up.
What passes were Bury doing in that game?
Go. Bury against AP Saints quarterfinals.
Right, we're going to give this a maximum of 10 more minutes to half past.
Okay.
And what we can do is we can do a little summary at the end. And again, I'm still in a little. I'm kind of leaning towards
it's coming. Okay.
More of the fact that the pass is creating more speed and it's transitioning the game a lot quicker, which means defenders cannot get into position because it's traveling way too quick.
This is what I mean. I love it, right? I love the long, but I expect now teams next season.
Like our dresses. Do you like our dresses, guys?
Yeah, I do. I do. I love them. They're amazing. It's great. But I was like, "Oh, no way! What's going on? That looks cool." What I expect to see now is a lot more shutdown. Yeah. On the long passes, I expect the long pass technique to be obliterated next season.
Let's have a look.
But Bury's all two-handed overhead, little chest. Well, so when these girls get closer to circle edge, there isn't the need to propel the ball a large distance. When you get to circle edge in the feeding, it's more about touch and feel. So there you will see more chest passes and sort of, you know, bulks and
chest
stuff.
Pass, Letty, chest pass.
Yeah. Stylistically, it's just very different.
But can I say with that as well, when we talk about the type of pass, every time we received the ball then, there was no players in front of us. And that's the defensive side of the game that you're not seeing. Because every time we got the ball in that transition there was nobody in front of us, which is why we could do a chest pass. That's why let me finish, Hayden. That's why they chose to use a chest pass. Whereas if they'd have had a defender in front of them, they would have altered that. And that, to me, that is about the gameplay. This is them thinking and being able to decipher what pass do I use.
I think that was an overhead there, wasn't it, back then?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay.
Overhead,
Tanae will sometimes. But yeah, a lot of the time, the AP Saints players, when there's bodies around them, they're keeping the ball kind of low. But you can see, like, Bury are pretty much like 80% of the time using like two-handed overheads. It's only really when they get close to a circle.
But do you know who I think is a classic example of someone who...
Look at that. That was the two-handed pass out, flat, two defenders in the way. It got intercepted.
Yeah.
But that's the
there
pass.
You see it, right, there you see the advantage.
Nice job, Jada.
Could you do that pass as quickly with a shoulder?
Yeah.
No. And it wouldn't be as accurate.
Bringing that ball back. Bringing the ball back. Actually, Bury don't bring the ball back as far.
No, they don't.
Just
it's not as
Kingsway. Spotted, Alison. Good point, yes.
Yeah, they don't bring it back as far.
No, they don't.
Probably
more sharper.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because it's because Richard, when we watch, you're taught with the overhead pass to hold it, not bring it back all the way and flick it with your fingers and get power that way. But what Lauren's done with the 12-year-olds at Kingsway is they don't have the strength to do that. So she's taught them to bring it all the way back and bang.
Launch
so
it.
That's why the 12-year-old
Anna and Isis has just done a two-handed pass there.
No, again, variation's good.
Yeah, what you're seeing from my girls is that they're deciding what pass they need to use.
Right.
Not, this is the pass that we must use. Do you understand? And Bury, she just did a chest pass there.
Yeah, they do a lot, especially the older ones. And Richard, my argument is when you're deciding which pass to use, that's kind of a wasted energy. When you've already caught the ball and are holding up high, no, you're either going to do a two-handed overhead or maybe bring it down and do a chest pass.
You don't have to.
All of your energy is then focused on court vision. So
I'm with Alison on this. You should be able to use different methods to release that ball and use it to the best of its ability. If you only know one, then your gameplay is
limited.
Yeah, it's limited. That's the word. I like that.
No, but let me give you an example of someone on that court who is, I think, 60-70% of the time doing an overhead pass, but she also has enough. She's streetwise enough to know that she has to play different passes, and it's Maisie. She's got great ring craft. She knows if she wants to go long and hard to do an overhead pass. If she wants, have you got the clip of where she does that trick shot, that trick pass, where she goes over the top? She pivots and goes over the defenders. Now, this for me is someone.
Why is my player on the floor like that, guys?
I'm not sure I've got that.
Rewind. Alison wants to check. Alison,
see what
you can buy the live stream, Alison. You can find it on there. Always trying to make a sale, as always.
On the floor.
Make some money.
Yeah, I haven't.
£10, yeah, special offer.
Can we rewind that, please? I want to see what happened there.
Oh, Hayden, I want to make a pay.
Where's Anna? Come on.
So Hayden, this game. So how many percentage-wise? How often are Bury using this set overhead pass? Do you reckon?
80. But they use it in transition, right? Because the thing is as soon as you get the right, coaches will tell you, and Alison will agree on
that's
this.
That's the important word, transition.
Yeah, this is where I'm seeing the northern teams having the edge, right? So all these things Alison is talking about, defense. Are the northern teams, have they got taller girls? Have they got better shooter? Have they got more accurate shooter? All of those variables, I look at it and I say, no, the southern teams have those skills. They have the defensive skill. They don't have an edge in defense. But what I'm seeing is when the northwestern teams win the ball, they are using the two-handed overhead pass to get the ball down the court quickly, and that is the reason they're dominating. Yeah. That's it. We can talk about Oldham with the set plays. That will give you like 5 or 10%. But what I think is this two-handed overhead pass, especially at younger age groups like under 12s, is giving these teams like a 30 or 35% edge.
But I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to take the next lot of year 9s. I'm going to coach them the two-handed, and we'll come back in 5 years' time and we can decide on this.
Oh, good girl. I like to hear. Yeah. No, you got 2 teams.
It doesn't take Alison that long. It'll take Alison 2 months.
I'll take the under 9s and bring them through.
Yeah, I want you to take 2 under 9s, Alison, because you're a great coach.
I can do one with and one without.
Okay. Then we can sit. I think that'd be brilliant. What do you reckon,
Alison,
Richard?
Alison, if someone said to you next season, right, you will win either my league or England nationals. If someone said to you, but you have to do the overhead pass 90% of the time in transition, would you take that, or would you say no? I'd rather not win. I just want to focus on different variations of passes.
Oh,
if I actually felt that it would benefit the girls and we would win with it and it would make a big difference, I would do it.
But it's already been proven.
Feel that it would.
But it has
you know
been
what?
proven.
We're going to win it anyway, Richard. That's why. We're going to win it anyway. Listen, my girls are doing really well, and I'm really pleased with them. I'm proud of how they're coming on. We've had a lot of new players come in who are, they're getting better, and that's what I do. I develop players.
Yeah. No. I think Hayden was full of praise for the tall shooter in the under-15s event. What's her name?
Yeah, Jesslyn.
Jesslyn.
Can I just throw a question out to all the people who are watching, by the way, and watching on the replay? As a parent, would you want your child to go into a team that would, for instance, play in the ENG League and win at the overhead, even though I know that Alison's going to train her team to block them all off, by the way?
Yeah.
Or would you be happy that they're learning technique and getting them ready to play in the higher leagues? There you go. So as a parent question, what would you prefer? Them, your kids playing and winning, or the kids learning technique, ready for future life in their chosen sport?
Question.
Not future life, but to go to the higher levels of netball.
Yeah.
Good. Well done. Thank you for correcting her. I feel definitely a coach.
So,
wow,
guys,
I'll tell you what, this has been amazing. I love it.
We're going to wrap this up, but if possible, I like each of us. I'd like to do maybe a little summary of what we felt we learned from the chat and what our overall feelings of it in general. So, Martin, do you want to start, mate?
Oh, great! Thanks, buddy. I tell you what I've got from it is it's not always Ava Patterson's higher level is the main goal. Thank you, Ava, for giving me 5 seconds to remember something else. Right. To me, winning isn't everything, but obviously learning technique is quite good, but also winning is quite important. So to me, I think learning the technique at a younger age will benefit me. And if I was a parent with my child, I would still want them to learn different parts. So I would actually have them in two teams. I'd have them up north and then playing down the south as well on the Sunday. So Saturday north.
So what would you rather, Martin? Martin, what would you rather? More for future development or for the win now?
I'll go for the win now.
Okay, cool. And Alison?
Both. I want to win now, but I want to develop girls at the same time.
That's not fair, Alison. I wouldn't give them both. We only allow one.
What can I say?
Well, what did you take from it? So,
as a coach or as a player? If I was a player, I'd want the win now. As a coach, when I look at some of the players now that I see playing in the Super League, and you go to games and you watch them, it's a nice feeling to know that, you know, they're part of your club and we've coached them as a you know, all of the coaches at AP Saints have coached these girls and they've come through, and it's lovely to see, whether it's England, whether it's Super League, whether it's NPL. I think us as coaches like to see that the long term has paid off.
But would you after hearing what Hayden's got to say and seeing all the kind of spreadsheet and stuff, would you kind of, especially I would say at a low level, so your under 11s are in my Netball Cup event. Yeah. Is there not an aspect of, do you know what, we want to maximize the day? It's quite clear to see that doing the overhead pass does transition the ball across the court a lot quicker than a shoulder pass, especially at that age. Would you not now be encouraged to think, you know what, Pat, get them doing that overhead pass for me, please, because I want to maximize the day? It's something
that we do anyway. We do the overhead pass, we do the chest pass,
but more strictly. The same for...
I don't think so, no. Only because, again, we're looking at the lot. I don't want to have my cake and eat it too, but it is all about getting these girls into the higher levels of netball.
Cool.
And
Hayden?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Alison. Sorry. Go on.
No. That's fine. Yeah.
But I don't like it when, like, I am from the Northwest, right? I'm from the South, and I don't like it when Tracy Neville and Karen Gregg and Tom Noakes are all smug on Twitter about, yeah, congratulations, 2 teams from the Northwest are finishing in the top 3. Like, we as like a region, the south of England, the Midlands, we need to close the gap. Like, people are saying, oh, netball's a culture in the Northwest, that's why they're more successful. So basically, as an analytical person, I've kind of looked at the video and said, well, what is that culture? What is the technical reasons behind that? And the thing that I found...
Again, with that, I don't think it's just the passing. I think definitely there is an edge in the Northeast. Definitely is an edge.
Northwest.
But I don't think it's just down to that. And listen, we went up to the Northeast with Prem, watching at the high level, Prem Trafford v Leighton. And Leighton beat Trafford. So, it's, I don't follow that at all.
But Richard, the other thing I'll say to you, it's not just about where it is a development thing. So basically, because the 12-year-olds can use the overhead pass to pass the ball further, although the passing technique is not the same as what you would see in a Super League game, the floor spacing is, because they're able to pass the ball over long distances. Whereas when you're using the shoulder pass and the chest pass with younger age groups, the technique, or they're trying to use the techniques of the Super League players, they're not physically strong enough to execute it properly. And because they can't throw the ball far and change the directory and bulk and whatever, the court is very congested. So I actually prefer seeing Kingsway Power with a technique that they won't use when they're 20, but seeing them matriculate the ball through the court is very beautiful to watch.
I'm going to finish this for you, Hayden, because what you have to remember is...
I'll finish you off.
This has just come to mind. You have to remember that these under-12s in the Northeast are in a pathway. They're in the Thunder pathway, which they do a great job at developing their under-11s, under-12s coming up. We're starting that in the South now. So let's have a look at it in a few years' time, because if you're in a club and you're getting good coaching in a club and you're in a franchise at 11, 12 years old and getting that extra coaching, of course, when you go to these competitions, you're going to get beaten, because they're having school netball, club netball, county netball, and franchise netball.
So again, I disagree, because I think that they have got good coaches in the South. I think they're teaching them to read well, to shoot well. The only thing they're not teaching them properly, pass the damn ball like this, and then you'll be successful with the Northwest. Just do that.
I'm not saying we're not coaching. They're not coaching them properly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Thunder have a pathway set up for those young girls, and that is coming to the South. So that's why the under-12s, under-13s are coming up, and they're stronger.
If you don't do the two-handed overhead pass, no matter what you teach them, you'll never be able to beat them unless you've got that passing technique with under-12s.
All right. 1 second here.
So what are you saying about Shan then?
Just give me, before you answer that, hang on, before you answer that, I'm just going to throw some comments, because I like bringing people the comments in. So Ava has said, high level is the main goal. Hayley Miles has said, as a parent, I like to see Rosie mixing up her passes and adapting to the game and players she's working with.
Yeah.
As a coach, I want to win now. Laugh out loud. We've also got Irina going, definitely learn a variety of passes, develop play. Hayley's back in there saying some can. And then she's put, she's saying they don't have as much. And then she's obviously finished off with that. They have opportunities for very young up there. Right.
What about, Paul? Yeah, but I say, Richard, Paul, they don't have a lot down there. They don't have a big population. They don't really have big pathways down there. This
is why, Hayden, you're onto something.
But hang on a sec. Don't they have a pool of players down there?
All right, mate. It's a bit late for that.
Can we rewind? Can we rewind? We are still going back to 12 girls or however many girls who have been together since year 3. We've seen the photographs.
But Hayden is
all the way through till now.
It's the way they pass. I don't care about that. It's the way they pass.
Yeah.
I can show you now. They've always been passing like that. I can show you that categorically.
They didn't pass
I can show you back in 2021. I can show you the 13th of June. They were playing. They were playing that way.
Well, I'm going to summarise before I got a shoot.
Hang on. Hayden didn't get to say win or develop. What is it, Hayden?
Go on. Win or develop?
Win.
Oh, you said that so convincingly, mate. Win.
Okay. I personally feel we need to shut them up. I feel about this like I do feel about kids doing press-ups at 12. I think if you're physically not able to do something, then you shouldn't stress the body. You should maximize the body to its full potential. And if passing above your head is the safest way for your body to get the ball from A to B, then do it. And you can develop that part. You can develop that part of their game when they get older. But go on.
Can you get me the sports scientist on this program who's told you that?
Told me what?
What you just said about the stress on the body and stuff. Give me the sports scientist. Give me that information.
No, we do it.
Yeah, please.
Richard, I say those girls from Kingsway, right? To pass the ball like that, you need to have extremely strong back muscles. Like Lauren has a lat pull down machine, like in that where they train. Like those Kingsway girls, they athletically are very, very good.
Well, I'm going to round it off by saying I think at a young age, in order to maximise the pass completion and to transition the game, I think Hayden is definitely onto something. I think as you get older, obviously develop your game, and that's up to the coaches to do that. But it's very, very clear to me that, especially at a younger age group, not necessarily under 15s, because you proved against Bury, Alison, you were 1 goal away from beating them and stuff, that it doesn't mean as much. But at a younger age group, you can clearly see that it makes a hell of a difference to transition the ball from A to B. And when you say about defending, Alison, it's impossible to get in defensive positions when the ball is just flying through the air. So I'm going to say...
No. I was going to say, I know coaches are like, I know that they'll work hard now that we've highlighted this. Yeah. They're going to work hard through the off season, and the training is going to be quite immense. That once they're playing a team who plays the long ball, they're going to shut them down quickly. It's going to be like they're going to be like magnets. No matter where they're going to.
Martin. The thing is, mate, you can't.
No such word as can't. Never want to hear that. I told you that so many times. There's no such word as can't.
What happens at the end of next season, and we can come back and talk about it.
And Martin, like Oldham tried it, right? Paul were doing the long passes, and the Oldham coaches were like, right, we need to shut down Sasha in the pocket. Once they shut down Sasha in the pocket, now the middle of the court was totally open. So then they were just killing them with chest passes and cuts and drives. But because the court was so open with the threat of the long pass, right, it opened up the court for everyone else. So there is no way you can defend against this.
I disagree with you 1,000,000%.
Yeah, so
there is always a way. Would you not agree, Alison? As a coach, Alison, would you not agree? There's always a way to defend.
Listen, just wait and see, guys. Just wait.
Well, Martin, I'm gonna finish with this. I'm setting up an academy in the Midlands and the South as of September, a weekly academy, like Alison said, to get these girls up to speed, to get them competing against this northwest area. And they will be practicing the overhead pass.
That's fine. They can bury it up. They can put that in their locker, Richard.
Thank you so much, Alison and Hayden. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think both of you had some fantastic points. And I think it's great. It's great that at a youth netball level, we have the infrastructure. And that's thanks to you, Martin.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
One, to view this footage. And 2, for you to constantly give up your time to dedicate yourself to the netball community, because the insight we're getting now at a youth level because of you is actually game changing. So big thank you to you, Martin.
Thank you,
Alison. Thank you, Hayden.
You're welcome.
As ever, controversial and amazing. And thank you to me for putting up with all of you.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks for having me on.
Come on. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Don't forget, subscribe, and don't forget to follow, and do let us know in the comments if you're watching this later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.